Okay. Welcome everyone back to another installment of the Convo,
Yes,
episode
sir.
6. Who thought we would have made it this far, right?
I
I
did it.
I know I
No
didn't.
one.
I didn't think it at all. So welcome everyone to the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and most importantly, nothing at all. I'm your boy John S.
Nah, yo, bump all of that. Bump John S. Bump Bizarro World. You know what the vibe is. Big Murray, Big Jamal. You know the vibes. Game winner, GOAT talk. That's what we doing right now. It's your boy hashtag Renegade, Big Jamal Murray. He's the GOAT. He's the 2020s Kyrie Irving. Stop playing with him.
Mm. Yeah, sure. Clearly, Rennan's living in the past. He still thinks he's in Denver, but no, he's in the best city in the world, New York, baby. Represent. Anyways, guys, thanks for having me. My name's Tom Bizarro, Thomas, however you want to call me. You know, this is a bizarre world, and you're all just living in it. So, thanks for
He's
having
so
me on.
corny. He's so corny, yo.
Hey, he can say whatever he wants. That comeback yesterday was legendary. He can say whatever he wants today.
Exactly.
I
Listen,
mean,
listen. First of all, I want to say big New York, you know the vibes. However, everybody forgot about that comeback when this comeback happened. You know what I'm saying? Word.
Maybe
Word.
dude,
again, maybe everyone in Denver forgot about it.
dog. So
Listen.
I think since we're on the subject, I think I'm in the best position to really say something to that because I was in a bar yesterday, right? I'm here in Monrovia, so I'm in California. So I'm in a bar yesterday and watching the game, and the lead starts to diminish. Everyone starts getting antsy in the bar. LeBron comes up. I think they were up like six, 5 or 6 or something. LeBron hits two threes in a row. Everyone goes crazy, right? And we like, oh, whatever. Like that was cool. That was cool. Throughout the game, I'm like, yo, the way that these guys go, Denver just be grinding out, grinding out, grinding out until the end. I know how this goes. And then Murray hits that shot to tie the game. I'm like, all right, here we go. LeBron misses the three. Everyone's just like quiet. Everyone's antsy. Everything like that. Jamal Murray gets the switch on AD. Dribbles up. Gets the step back. Gets the space. Hits the shot. You can see the agony in everyone's face, bro. Everyone was like, oh, like everyone was tight, and it was like I'm here, I'm admiring the shot. I get up out of my seat. I'm like, yo, that was crazy. And then I'm like, wait, I'm in California.
Yeah.
Like, let me relax a little
You're like
bit because
you're
I don't
probably the
need a
only one
bottle.
celebrating.
Yeah, I don't need a bottle getting thrown at my head. I don't need to get jumped right now. Nothing like that. But I mean, to see how everyone was just like at the same time, their level of like happiness just went from here to like all the way down to the floor was actually insane to witness. Like firsthand, being here, like it's different when you're in different states and everything. Everyone has a different opinion, but being in the home state of the team that got beat the way that the Lakers did, man, that was crazy.
Nah, I will say, bro, like I went to the opening night, Nuggets versus Lakers, in Denver.
Hmm.
That's why I got the jersey on. And when I tell you, from my understanding, Denver fans have a deep, deep hatred of LA because anytime Denver looked like they were gonna do something, LA was there to stomp it out. So now that Denver is the big guy on campus, them bullying LA is like a level of catharsis for Nuggets fans that like you've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get that. But I do want to, you know what I'm saying? I do want to want to talk about what I find really surprising,
Go
right?
ahead, sir.
And what I find really surprising is that we have here a Celtics fan in the middle of California. And guess what, y'all? He told us before the pod he didn't even bring any of his Celtics merch.
I didn't even think about it. I
So
didn't think about it at all.
wait, hold on. Let me set the narrative and then you can lie. You know what I mean? So we have this dude who knows, who wants to talk in the group chat. This is our year. Blah 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 blah. All this stuff. Talks all this trash.
Side note, it's been their year for the last how many years running? 10 or so?
Exactly. But the
It
minute he
can't be
said,
10 because we were rebuilding. We were
we
rebuilding
set
from
the
like
narrative,
2014 to
then you
2016.
lie.
This can't be 10 years.
We set the narrative, then you
It
lie.
can't be 10
Okay.
years.
Okay, I round up 7. If you round up 7, it becomes 10.
You know what I'm saying?
It
But
can't
this
even be
man,
7 because we were led by Isaiah Thomas at that time. If you want to say from 2018, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
nah, bro.
They
This
were in the
man is
conference
in
final.
California right now, y'all. Right now, he's in California. Scared.
Hmm.
He can't even root. He can't even root for the ops in
He
peace.
can't even.
He's
He didn't
scared,
bring.
bro.
I bet he didn't bring anything green.
Listen.
Yeah.
If they asked him to, he'd probably burn a shamrock in a 4-leaf clover right now.
Stop it. Stop it, right?
You know what
Stop
I'm
it.
saying?
Stop it. Stop it. Let's not
I'm
start
telling
pushing
you,
false
bro.
agendas
I'm
to
telling
put
you.
yourself ahead. Like, let's not do that.
Why do you
Let's not
think
do that.
LA is the
I'm
GOAT
not burning
franchise?
those shamrocks.
Why do you think LA is the GOAT franchise? Can you tell us that? Talk to us.
I don't think that. I don't think that.
You're acting like it.
I thought you was a Bucks fan. What's with all this Jamal Murray?
I'm not.
All this, you know.
I'm not
I
a
thought
Bucks
you was a Bucks
fan.
fan.
Yeah.
I didn't say you were. So wait.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you a Bucks fan,
Yeah,
if you
you know
wait.
everybody.
Hold on.
Let's keep the
If
shirt
you
coming off
if
to that level.
Best player in the world right here. Yes, sir.
hold on.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know you was wearing a Nikola Jokic jersey.
Yo, dog.
Ooh,
Don't
that's
play
good
with me,
discussion.
bro.
Yo,
Don't play with me.
if you
Because you
really a
saying
Bucks
that,
fan,
but you
if
were
you a
scared
fan,
to go, woo,
wait, stop.
and they won. So
Hold
who's
on.
really, don't duck smoke
Hold
now.
on. If you really a Bucks fan and that's your team and everything, why was they jersey underneath the Denver jersey? Are you
Because
ashamed of
Yeah.
repping the Bucks? Are you ashamed of repping the Bucks?
I had to give Mr.
Why
Murray his flowers.
why haven't I seen you? Why haven't I seen you wear your Bucks jersey to any of our runs and pickup back home?
Where's your Celtics merch?
Why? I'm at work.
Put it
I'm
put
at
it
work.
on right now.
I'm at
Put
work.
it on
Stop
right
it.
now.
I'm
Grab it.
at work.
Go
I'm
grab
not
it.
gonna waste. I'm not
Show us the
wasting
merch.
suitcase space. I'm
Show
not
us some
wearing
merch
suitcase
right now.
space on
Show
just
the
work
merch.
for 2 months. Stop it.
Show the
Stop
merch.
it right now.
Show
I
the
ain't
merch.
got it right now. I'm gonna get it though. Don't
Work,
worry.
I'm
I got it when we go back home. When we get home. Don't worry.
To be
Don't worry.
fair
Don't be
though,
rushing it.
John, work shouldn't stop your love for them, man.
Show
Like
the
It
merch.
doesn't.
if
Who
you're
said
in a
that?
if you're in a relationship, are you gonna stop loving your girl because you're working?
You guys gotta understand, bro.
Oh God,
I
he's
got
cooked.
you.
He's
I
cooked.
got these dudes to win the championship. I have money on them. So nothing is changing my love for the team.
Show the
I
merch.
have actual dollars on the team to win.
Put some
That's
dollars
it.
on the merch.
So that's
Yeah, you can go buy like a $20 shirt right there.
listen. If I go find it, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna shut y'all up because y'all talking crazy right now. Y'all two not even supposed to be on the same side. I don't know what's going on right now.
Brandon, which player should he get? Let's pick for him. Which player should we get?
You can't pick for me. That makes no sense.
But you're too scared to do it, so we'll do it for you.
Yeah, it's looking like we might be the bigger Celtics fans than you, and we hate.
You're a Jason Tatum hater.
Exactly. I hate the Celtics.
I'm a Celtics fan.
There's got to be one player you hate that's on.
I'll step foot in Boston and tell everybody how I think about Tatum.
No,
he's won't step foot in LA.
Go ahead.
I got it, Renan.
Do nothing.
He's got to get a shirt with a bunch of faces of Joe Mazzulla on it.
Yeah. The GOAT, Mazuzu himself.
Stop it, bro.
Yeah.
That
Look at
that dude gonna cost us a chip, bro.
him and Tatum.
That dude gonna cost him and Tatum gonna cost us the chip,
His
bro. And I
game
love
plan.
Jason
Wait,
Tatum.
his game
I
plan
love
and Tatum
Jason
not
Tatum.
executing it.
I love Jason Tatum, bro. They gonna cost us a chip, bro.
Nah, bro.
Reddit.
Mazuzu is him, bro.
Brendan, we're
You not a
turning him.
believer?
He's starting to realize it's not their
Nah,
year.
I'm a believer. Nah, it's definitely their year. In all honesty, it should be. It should be because they have the best
Yeah, till
roster.
you run into
They have
the
the best starting five.
best roster. I don't know about that.
They have the best starting five.
I could
Their
agree on that.
supporting cast. Their supporting cast is playing. You can't argue that, Renan. Stop it. Their
I can't
supporting
argue
cast
that.
right now is playing well. If Sam Hauser continues to shoot the way that he's shooting, I mean, sky's the limit for the team because all we need is consistent bench production.
He's this year's
Because we
Duncan
know what we're
Robinson.
gonna, yeah, we know what we're gonna get from the starters, or at least we have an idea of what they're gonna give us. And if the bench keeps producing, there's no other real hole in their game. Honestly, they could only beat themselves at that point, which they try to do. I don't dispute that fact. They try
Not
to beat
tried.
themselves.
Not
But
tried. Dude, the last 3 years they have succeeded in that.
yeah, 100%. They shoot themselves in the foot, which is their biggest issue. But I mean, they know what's at stake right now. You know, it's not just about winning a chip. It's about like their own
No, that's just
legacy
what it's
too.
just about.
Yeah.
That's
Legacy,
No,
just
no.
what
It's
job.
it's
not.
about.
It's along with that. Like it's their legacy. Like their like legitimacy. Like are you guys really the best players? Do you guys really deserve the contracts that you have? You know, things like
No,
that.
no.
Jobs are on the line, Missoula.
Jobs are on the line.
Shout out
So for
Mazuzu.
now on, it's gonna be on the line. It's been good. It's been good. I mean, it's a sweep. Like get the broom out for Miami. Get the broom out for
Yeah,
Miami. I
I
wish
know
I
you
had it.
was I know you
Um,
went out skipping when you found out Jimmy Butler was injured. I know you went out
nah,
skipping.
you guys know me enough to know that I want to play every team at full strength because I never want anyone to say, "Oh, well, this dude
Mhm.
didn't play." You know, that dude didn't play. You know, would you have beat them? Whatever. Especially after what happened last year.
I'm starting
But I
those
feel
narratives
like
as we speak.
even even if even if Jimmy played, I feel like it's just we're on a different level. You know, it's
Mm.
incorporating Drew and Porzingis. I feel like we just have elements to our game now that we just never had. Um, and it would probably be the same result. It would probably be closer. I mean, it would probably most likely be closer. I feel like when you subtract a guy, like one of the top guys, you can't just look at it and say, well, um, you know, if we had that guy, we would have 20 more points because at the same time, some of the guys underneath wouldn't have the points that they had.
Mm.
They wouldn't have the opportunities that they had to score because this guy would be there doing his thing or getting people involved more, like more of the stars and everything. And you probably wouldn't have gotten the ball as much. So it's tough to look at it like that. But I feel like with Jimmy, it's always going to be closer because Jimmy is just a dog. But you know, Jimmy too is like sometimes he's going to try and get 40, and sometimes he's going to try and just get people involved, and that's it. You
Jimmy's
never
not
know
like that.
which version of Jimmy you're going to get.
That's why the Heat are usually dangerous every year.
Yeah.
Both versions suck.
Brennan, but think about this: Jimmy Butler has been to more finals than Giannis.
Okay, how many has he won?
None, but that's a good
All right,
point.
then.
Still,
All right then. All right then.
You know what's funny? We should all we should all not like Jimmy Butler because he beat all of our teams
well, that I do hate
in the
him, and
I'm
same
the
run.
I'm
I
the
do.
only one who makes my hatred known.
Well, no, I say I do hate them because I don't know how they win because on paper their teams are not good, but you got to respect them.
Who said?
I mean, come on, Brennan, you have to you can't be
No,
that
I
cruel.
don't. Only thing I have to do is be black and die. Like those are the only two things I have to do.
And pay taxes.
No, because if
Pay
I don't pay
taxes.
taxes, I'll just die.
That's not how that works. You'll go to
I
jail. You wouldn't die.
and then what's gonna happen if I go to jail?
That's a long time though.
Well, technically,
That's
you're
not
doing a third
immediate.
thing
Yeah.
because right now you're living, so that's a third thing.
I don't have to live though.
But you are,
I don't have to.
but you are.
I can choose not to at any point in time.
Oh, this is not that kind of show, Renan.
You're the one questioning my logic. The only two things I have to do is
But
be
you can
black and
also
die.
agree with me and say yes, I am living, and then that's the end of the
I don't
discussion.
have to live though.
You don't have to,
You're
but you
just
are.
wrong.
But all
You're
you said
just
was,
wrong.
but you said two. You said you had to do two things: be black and die. But you're living, so that's a third thing.
I don't have to live though.
But you are living.
That doesn't mean I have to.
All right, sure, but you are.
Dude,
Yeah, at
You're
Wait,
least
so
just
mention it.
you're wrong and you're just repeating yourself.
But you are
That's
too.
the
You're
thing.
saying you don't have to,
I don't have to,
so you just repeat yourself again.
but I'm not wrong.
I didn't say you were wrong. I just said mention living because you're doing it.
Why would Okay. All right. No, it's cool. I want to preference this by saying
Renan
this
hates me. That's
today,
the preference.
this is not just a discussion about basketball. This is
What do we say?
this
Everything,
is this is
anything, and
war.
nothing.
This is a fight between good and evil.
I'm the good one.
And I'm on my white horse right now, ready to vanquish the scourge that is Bizarro World. You guys are gonna hear some nasty takes. Um, from a guy wearing blue and orange right now. And I apologize.
Orange
I
and
will
blue
do
skies,
everything.
baby.
I will put I will arm myself with as much logic as I can. But I need you guys to stick with me here because it's gonna get nasty, as you already seen.
And to add to that, I may not have the logic as him, but what I think I say is right, and I think I'm always right. So that's my output.
So with that being said, where do you guys want to start? How have you guys felt about this playoff so far?
It's been fun, besides the injuries that we've seen, the Giannis, the Jimmy Butler, like to the degree Joel, but he is playing. So you can't, he's injured, but he's playing. So you can't say we didn't beat them at their best. At least they're trying.
I mean, Embiid is putting in work. I don't think you put in more or less on the offensive end, but I think on the defensive end, you probably put in a little more if he was 100%. Like I think someone got a steal late in the game, and Joel, like his first instinct was to go full speed and try to get the block, and he started going full speed, and then he immediately stopped. He was like, "Nah, like I can't do this." So it's interesting to see it from that point of view. But he is playing. He is putting up 30 points and however many rebounds and assists and stuff. So
Shout out
can't
to
Only
really
Joel.
thing,
complain.
Shout out
only
to
thing I
Joel.
could
Not
really say,
100%, and he's putting it in.
only thing I could really say is that game one, after that kind of little spill he took, he
Yeah.
wasn't as aggressive. He started shooting further from the basket, wasn't taking it to the lane as much. And you know, in game two, one of the announcers was like, "Oh, he said something about like Joel Embiid going to his go-to move, getting fouled," and I was like, you know, as funny as that is, it's true though. Like
It is true.
Yeah.
you need Embiid to be aggressive. You need him to take it to the hole because when he's not going to the rim aggressively, you know, he's not gonna get those calls. He's not gonna get those free throws, and free throws are just easy buckets. Like, and he hits them at a high enough clip where it's just like he needs to be doing that. And so when he's taking threes, when he's shooting deep middies, those is kind of bailing the defense out a little bit. Like I'm sure if I'm the Knicks, I want to try and push him as far away from the basket as possible. We saw in the play-in tournament a little bit when the Heat was running the zone. Because of the way the Heat run their zone, they would kind of like shade Embiid. So he was kind of getting like pseudo doubled whenever he tried to get like a paint touch. And they were able to like pick off a lot of passes and stuff like that he did. So anything to force him further away from the basket, keep him from getting those calls, give him double teams where he can't really see because he's not the greatest playmaker. So you give him those double teams where he can't really see open options or the easy read. That's really how you make him struggle.
Yeah.
But he's been playing well though. Mr.
Yeah.
Robinson been a dog on him. I respect it.
Hartenstein.
Hartenstein's been good. He had like what 5 blocks in the last game. I want to say
I
like
think so. But like the key, man, he's not like as big as Embiid, but dang, like I know Embiid's limited, but he just out hustles him on the offensive boards.
and that's big, man. And then you got Josh Hart who like
He's got to be averaging like at least 20 and 10 in 2 games so far.
for those
Like,
of
Who's that?
you who aren't privy to Josh Hart, watch Josh
Uh,
Hart. Watch his rebounding sense because he's like
oh,
the
he's
way
insane.
he knows where the ball is gonna be at all times. His timing on his jumps is perfect. Like he knows how to just creep by a defender, like a bigger player, sneak in and just pick it off. Like it's actually like fascinating to watch, like how natural his rebounding sense is. It's different. I love Josh Hart.
I
He
know, right?
makes all the tough
Late,
plays. They've been forcing him to shoot, and he's letting it fly, and he's been hitting here and there. So,
I,
especially game 1.
I think a throwback to what was it, 2-3 years ago when he was traded from New Orleans to Portland. That was a huge mistake by New Orleans.
No, it's
Dude, it
true.
was a huge mistake by LA.
I mean, but you got AD, so and you did get a chip out of it, like
The Mickey
asterisk
Mouse
or
ring?
not.
You gonna talk about the Mickey Mouse ring?
It's
Is
still
that
a
what we
ring,
gonna
man.
do? Are we gonna legitimize the Mickey Mouse ring?
Hey,
When
people
Giannis ain't even
still
touch a ball. Giannis didn't touch a basketball in 3 months.
okay, a lot of players didn't.
Like,
All I'm
bro,
gonna say,
nobody had no type of practice.
We we
Nobody didn't want to play. Nobody didn't want
we
to
had,
do it.
we had
Like, come on.
Luca, who was looking like the chubby baby, come into the bubble looking like a new spring chicken.
no, it's true.
That's Luka
And
Doncic. I don't care.
You were just
Nobody
talking
didn't
about
want to play in
Giannis.
the bubble. Nobody didn't want to play in the bubble.
Lakers and Heat wanted to.
They just benefited from the fact that we got 3 months off. Anthony Davis got 3 months off in the middle of the season when he would be 70%. He got a push to be 100.
Okay, what about Mr.
Come on, dog.
What about
Stop
Mr. Load
it.
Management Kawhi Leonard? He had 3 months off. He wasn't doing
I
anything.
don't care. I don't care. He's always gonna be injured. We've seen this. I'm talking about the Lakers, right? He got 3 months off in the middle of the season.
Yes, he did.
Damn near playoff time. This was March. Damn near playoff time. 2 months, a month and change away from the playoffs.
Yes.
He gets 3 months off. March, April, May, June. No, 4. I think they started in July.
Possibly.
Come
I don't
on,
remember
dog.
exactly. It was definitely during the summer.
I think we started back in July and then it finished in August.
nah, they started in late May. I want to say.
That's
You sure?
too soon.
I was in school with the bubble because I remember being in class watching.
Late May seems really like close though, from because it was in March.
I feel like earliest to June.
Let me check.
It was definitely during the summer.
Yeah. I thought it was summertime too.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Oh, you know what it was, bro? The bubble went into October. So I was in school,
Yeah.
but I was in the fall, not the spring.
October,
Okay,
geez.
that's on me. It went from July to October.
July. Yeah, dude got damn near 4 months off. It right near playoff time.
Yeah,
But
You
how
know?
many
I
games was it
do.
before playoffs? Because remember they had to do like the final seeding games.
Yeah, I don't remember. But it's
I
like
do
there's
want
so
to
many
say
different
though.
factors to that. That was just you can't measure that.
I do want to say though, like when it comes to the bubble, everybody had the 3 months off.
Yes.
Everybody, teams that I don't know play better at home or better away. They all had to deal with no fans in attendance. They all had to deal with being in the hotel dolo, only being around your teammates,
The
ch- try-
5-star meals that they showed.
trying to sneak in people inside or whatever, all that kind of stuff. They all kind of had to deal with that. And so that's why, I guess I understand why people call it the Mickey Mouse ring and everything. But I think it's fair just because everybody was under the same circumstances. It's not like you had whole teams that were like, nah, we're not going to do it. And so now you got like 25 teams facing off versus the 30 or something like that. And as long as everybody's under the same circumstances, then
I think it's
I'll see
fair
it.
game. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think it's
I think there was someone who did an interview or did a pod, like was on a podcast or something a while back, and it was saying like nobody really wanted to be there. I think it was someone from like the Clippers, maybe
Hmm.
Pat Bev or one of them
the
at the
team
time.
that lost.
Yeah, but it's like
No
I
heart.
believe that wholeheartedly because it was such a weird situation to be in. You
Of
couldn't
course.
be
Yeah.
with your family and anything like that. Like I feel like people just didn't have the motivation. Some people didn't wouldn't have the fitness. Some people wouldn't have like the same rhythm that they had going into it. So it's just tough, for me to be like, oh, this ring was like great. And it's not even because the Lakers won it. Like if the Celtics won it, I felt the same way. I told you guys in real time because you guys asked me at the time. You said if the Celtics win the chip, how would you feel? And I said, I don't know.
Mm.
Because I wouldn't really be able to celebrate it the same way because I feel like we didn't get the teams at their best. I didn't think we got any team at their best, honestly. I feel
Oh,
like,
was looking so good that year.
yeah, like I wouldn't, I don't disagree. I'm not a Bucks fan or anything, but it's like they were on a type of rise at that point, and it's like you don't know what could have happened. And then there was so much changes that happened roster wise to different teams after that. So it's like, well, what really would have happened this time when people didn't get to join up or like come back or this, that, and the third. So many different factors. So it's just like that ring to me is just, it's so like as you said, asterisk, but
Mm.
like I feel like asterisk can go multiple ways. I just feel like that one you just kind of push down to the rug, honestly.
Yeah.
And it
Question.
shows. It shows because LA hasn't been there anywhere near there. Well, they went into the conference finals. They
Yeah.
did good, but
They
they got
they
swept.
did retool their roster after that season though. Like a lot of the pieces that they did have, they ended up getting rid
Yeah,
of, which was stupid. And they lost. They got rid of Frank Vogel after that too, right?
No,
yeah,
what?
yeah. Frank, well, I don't think the season after, but the season after that.
Yeah.
Shortly after, yeah.
So they changed their roster for some reason.
Well, every year they change their roster. They always do something major.
I thought that was kind of stupid though. Like letting
Yeah,
guys like Alex Caruso go. KCP was, oh my gosh, he was giving them such great minutes.
but
I'm a
KCP
big fan
on the
of
Lakers
that.
wasn't great. Like he wasn't like for the most part.
In the
In the
He wasn't
playoffs.
playoffs,
putting up in the
in the
playoffs.
playoffs,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying overall, like he wasn't really doing all that.
he's one of those people though. Like I feel like even if he's having, um, you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm saying, even if he's having like a rough game offensively, he finds other ways to be impactful. Like he's gonna get
Yeah.
after it on defense. He's gonna hit a tough shot. He's gonna make the right pass, kind of thing. That's why I'm always a big fan of his game.
Yeah.
Because I think players, like I feel like the best role players are good at what they do, but I think another part of a role player is like, okay, when what you do when you're having a rough patch, how are you playing? Are you gonna dive for the loser ball because you know you haven't been hand shots today? Are you gonna try and get that, that layup because you know your three ball hasn't been falling? Are you gonna make the right pass? Are you gonna get after it on defense? Little things like that. I always kind of view because obviously role players, they're called role players for a reason, So, but I do think if your role is not working out, you should be able to provide other value on the floor. Because if you're really a one trick pony and can only do one thing, the minute that thing's not working, you're not going to be in the league long.
Yeah.
Unless you got a reputation. Because a lot of people live off a reputation.
Yeah,
Draymond.
yeah. Clay,
Draymond, PJ Tucker.
PG-13. A lot of guys they living off a reputation right now.
At
Clay
least
is
with
trying his best to live off a
oh,
reputation.
Clay's a
He
big
wants a
one.
hundred and something. Yeah, he wants $100-something million contract extension, but he's averaging point 0.7 points a game. Like I don't understand what he because Drew Holiday got 135 mil that he's gonna get something like that, and he hasn't been putting in any type of work.
Yeah. Like I like Clay, but no, he does not deserve that money anymore.
I don't even like Clay no
It's
more.
bad.
So you better than
Like
me.
like if he wants 100 mil, like that's at least more decent. Like say 4 years, 100 mil, 25, like that's probably still a lot, but that's fair in my opinion.
Bro, if
Yeah,
you're gonna
his
give him
fall
a
off is
hundred
gonna be
mil,
sad.
if you're gonna give him 100 mil, that better be like a 20-year contract because like he doesn't deserve more than like 5 a year right now, the way that he's playing.
That's the thing. Like a lot of people been saying, like, oh, so many teams could use a Clay Thompson, even though he's not the same Clay as he was before. But I'm like, the value that he provides, you can find other people to give you similar value, and you don't have to pay nearly as much.
Probably guys in the draft, like in like 2, 3 years into the league, can be like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of role player, because right now, I do still think that he can shoot. Uh, he just he just is a little bit slower, I think, getting to a shot. But I do think he provides value spot up. He can play defense, not as well as he was before. And I'm like, you can find a lot of 3-and-D style players in the same position for a lot less money.
I'm thinking right now because he's got to be like a three at this point in his career. Like he needs at least two other stars with him. Would you agree?
Clay Thompson,
Yeah.
I think he's like a 4 or 5, 6.
Because I
Oh
was just gonna, I
God.
was gonna ask you, Renan, what would you do if, like, would you rather have him or Chris Middleton?
Middleton, I think. Because right now, number one, Middleton's better than Clay Thompson right now.
Okay.
Number two, Middleton's shot creation ability. He's still, obviously, he's not the same. Like, I don't think his defense fell off a lot, like,
Yeah.
just because he just can't move the same way he could. But when it comes to like his mid range ability, he can still hit threes and he can still create his own shot. Like, even they give minutes where Dame Lillard, Giannis are out the game, and Middleton has been. I've seen multiple games where he's been like, for that little stretch of time, that little 5 minutes, he's been the scorer on the team. And the Bucks don't have a lot of people who can create their own shot.
Right. Yeah.
Besides Middleton, Dame, and Giannis, and then Bobby Portis on the block, we don't really have people who I saw a stat the other day that I was talking about, and like we're like the rest of our team is like bottom in the league in like drives per game or something like that. Like when you take those three out, like we have our role players are strictly kind of spot up. Pat Connaughton could get to the lane here and there, but they're not really gonna like pump fake, boo 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 boo, take the layup kind of thing. That's why I do think Pat Bev is good for us
Mm.
because he's one of those guys that's gonna do just the right play. Because he's not the greatest shooter, but he'll get you a little pump fake, take that midi kind of thing. So yeah, I think for Klay Thompson, I think he could still be useful. Potentially still start, but he would not be the third option. I think he'd have to be like the fifth. Like he'd have to embrace that role player role.
Now, do you guys have any teams lined up yet for him, or you want to wait a little before that?
How
I
much is he
think
making?
Golden
How long is
State
his
is still
contract
going to
for?
sign him
Well,
back.
he's going to be a free
He's
agent,
going to be a
so
free
it's like,
agent. I think
Yeah,
I think I think Golden State's still going to try and sign him, which is to me is
yeah,
stupid. I think you could use that money and do something else, or like a sign and trade or something. Like sign
yeah,
and trade him for like a Zach LaVine or something. Well, you can't even get that value for him. You
you're
can't even
not.
get that value for Zach LaVine.
The Bulls are trying
You
to get
know,
people to overpay for all their players, so I feel like you can't
yo,
even get Alex Caruso for that.
Chicago is a crazy franchise, bro. Because what are y'all trying to really? You're trying to snake the league, like, and this is you don't have the personnel to do that. You have no name to do that.
I just saw something that I don't know if DeMar DeRozan is a free agent or this was an extension. They said they offered him 2 years. I think they said
80 mil, right?
yeah, and he said no because he wants a longer deal. So if he already said no, like, do you really want to give him another year? I don't mind another year, but that's just going to be more money to add it to the cap for that third year, and they're nowhere close to like competing.
Thing is, DeMar's already 34 years old. Like the best value you're gonna get from him, you probably already got. And
What
it's
he
the same
says
kind of
that
thing with Klay Thompson. I do think that there are probably teams out there that will overpay for Klay Thompson. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm not saying he's gonna make like another, but I could see him doing like a, you know, 10 mil a year kind of deal, which I think is too much for him.
10 mil a
But
year.
yeah,
But like you
I'm
guys said,
telling you, 5.
but because of his reputation and like you know how like if you have like all NBA and stuff, like you're guaranteed a certain amount.
but don't you have to
That's if
do
you
it
make
that
it
season?
each year,
Oh,
that
it has to be
season.
that
Yeah.
year. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
he's nowhere
That's
close
why
to that.
Jason Tatum. That's why Jason Tatum a couple years ago didn't get it because he didn't make, I think, the first team when he realistically should have made one
Yeah.
of the teams he should have made. There was some guys
Yeah.
on there that weren't better than him at the time.
And there was people saying that Jaylen Brown, if he didn't make an All NBA team, that would hinder how much the Celtics could offer him. And people were saying that
Yeah.
at that point he might consider taking less and going to another team. But because he made the All NBA team, the amount of money that he was gonna make was he might as well stay. There's no point in going somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see honestly like 10 like that's like super low. In my opinion, it's going to be if he were to take a pay cut, it should be between 15 and 20 mil.
His
20 mil a
production just
year?
doesn't support that.
How many
His
years?
production doesn't support that.
I would say if
10 years.
like
Get
3
until
or
he's
4,
45.
at least that way it spreads out.
Nah,
Because
this is why
Alex
you're not a
Caruso
GM,
is
Thomas.
doing like a 4-year, 37 mil contract.
Well, you know that's what he's going to get somewhere if it's not like because Detroit's so
It's gonna
desperate
be
and they have
somewhere.
cap space.
I'm
I'm
not
not debating
saying,
you on that,
yeah, a
but he
team's
doesn't
gonna
deserve it.
overpay for
Like
him.
I'm trying to be realistic about it. Like I know what it should be, but like I'm trying to be realistic about it.
No, say what it should be. Tell the world what it really should be.
If I was like a team and I wanted Klay Thompson, I would say, can you do it for 10 mil? Like honestly, that'd be my highest offer.
Yeah, I think he could make more, but it would have to be a short-term contract.
Like, but
And
if I really wanted him, then I would be like, okay, I'll do 15, like and like start negotiating.
like if they did like a 2-year, I wouldn't do it, but I could see maybe a team doing like a 2-year 30 mil kind of thing. So he gets like 15 a year and maybe put like a player option for a third year.
Yeah.
If you want, sign him. Or because a lot of teams like For instance, like the Houston Rockets, the way they signed Van Fleet. The idea, at least a lot of Rockets fans think, is that they're using that to fill the cap space or whatever, but it's a short contract. So because the contract isn't too many years, that when they feel like the team's in a better place and the team's better now and looking to compete more, now they can look at freeing up that cap space and looking to get someone else,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so I could see teams doing that potentially.
But what is Clay 33?
He's
Like
34.
he's 34.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got 2 decent years left. Like he can get like 15 for you.
15 a
Yeah.
night?
Yeah. Because that's what he
You
did
think
this year,
so?
right? Something like that.
I don't think
But
so.
like I said, if he's like the third or fourth option, then I think he can get you 15. But if he's like the 2, then
He gave you
probably not.
17.
17, really? How many games did he play?
77.
And remember, some were
Oh,
off the bench, so he was probably the number one scoring option at some of them.
what was his
Well,
field
it
goal
looks like he
percentage?
started 63 of them. Field goal percentage
If you tell me anything less than 43,
is 43.
Oh, it was
okay. Wow,
3 point.
he's right on the threshold.
3-point percent is 38. And he's doing that on 14 shots.
That's so
He took
weird
9
because
threes a game.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
why did he
all.
take in more than Steph?
But that's all he can do now because I think because of his leg injuries, he doesn't want to drive anymore as much.
He never
if
used to drive even before the leg
And
injury.
as far as I can remember, I never saw him like get in like near the paint and then like a fadeaway shot.
Yeah,
So
not very rare.
that's true. I don't know. Maybe you could get something out of him. I think though, there's a good chance if he's like the fifth option, his efficiency will go up, and I think there can be value in that, you know, because he's still a good shooter. I want to say, I don't know how you guys feel about like his ability to come off the screens and stuff like that since his leg injury.
it's gonna be tough, especially
You
because
know,
each year as he gets older, the league gets younger.
yeah. So that's the hard thing because I'm like, right, if you need an off-ball shooter, because if you're a role player, they're not just gonna give you the ball and let you work every possession, kind of thing. And so if he can't run and come off screens and let it fly, kind of thing, and he takes longer to get to his shot, then it's like even the things that he provides value for, he doesn't provide a whole lot of value for, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm,
Because
Yeah.
how are we going to run stuff to get him open?
yeah.
Unless it's the kind of thing where we draw and kick, which is probably what you would have to do. Turn him into like a spot up, draw and kick, not get him coming off of screens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think there's too much playoff basketball going on to
Yeah.
spend all this time talking about Klay Thompson.
Yeah. Clay, like who the hell is Clay Thompson, bro?
Where so
I think a great place to kick it off is Philly and New York, man. I think we kind of touched on it a bit, and my prediction for that series was it was going to 7. So none of anything that's happened so far has surprised me. I think Philly takes the 2 games at home,
yeah,
and I think it's just going to be a dog fight the rest of the way.
I will say though,
All the way to 7 games.
as a Knicks fan, I'm a little worried because I told you guys this the other day. I really think they figured out how to like stall Brunson because he was like 8 for 29 last night, 1 from 6 from
Yeah,
3.
the two worst games I've ever seen him play, he played it.
The threes, like I'm not gonna say that's all defense because sometimes you just miss. But like when he's, his like game is like the mid range floater, the fadeaway. As if you see, they start like they have like say Maxi on them, then they bring another body and they don't do. Teams don't
Yeah,
do
they
that in the
blitz
regular
him.
season.
They blitz him. Yeah,
yeah.
the same thing like a pseudo double team.
And
I would
And I don't know if he
Because
doesn't feel it sometimes because when he goes for his like typical floater, like say Oubre's behind him, like I don't know because he's so used to like teams not doing that in the regular season. It's like second nature. He just floats it, but like you got to be able to sense that there's going to be a guy behind you, and that's like I keep seeing him getting blocked up there.
Yeah. I was gonna say, that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people ready to kind of pack up Philly. You know, a lot of New Yorkers is like, "Oh, Philly is done." Um, but I think though, like people got to remember, them first two games was at home
Yeah,
for New York, and so especially if Brunson, granted, they did the right thing. Brunson struggled, and they still got the job done, which is great. But if Brunson continues to struggle,
yeah.
are the role players still gonna play the same way at away games? You
And as
know,
a
when
fan,
the
I don't think Hart's going to be averaging like I said like 20 and 10 for the next possible 5
that's what I'm
games.
saying.
Yeah,
Because they're letting Hart shoot because he's not the greatest shooter. And
he's just
so
wide open.
yeah, they're giving him those wide open shots. And so, you know, my question is he gonna still hit those joints, you know, when they're
bro,
away?
sorry to cut you off. I have the stats up right now. Tom Thibodeau's trying to kill him. He played all 48 minutes.
Who's that? Hart?
That's what Thibodeau does,
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, he does do that.
That's what Thibodeau does.
bro, he's gonna be gassed by the time that if they get to a seventh game, it's done. It's like this dude is not even gonna have the legs to move. Like he's not gonna be able to sustain this.
I
Yeah,
know, but like,
that's the Tom Thibodeau way though. You know,
I mean,
like
I
they
know
always
like
play the
most
Yeah,
same.
I
teams
know
play
that.
like
Like,
what? They play like 8 for the playoffs.
Typically, yeah.
8 man rotation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
An
but
but
8
I
man
mean,
rotation you talking
yeah,
about?
you know what I don't get? He's not playing Precious this series. I don't know why.
Achua?
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, I mean Hartenstein and Mitchell are giving him great minutes. So
but still, that can at
and
least
then I
give
guess
them a
sometimes they
rest.
go small. Yeah. But I mean I guess sometimes they go small and then you can have spurts like that. I mean,
But
I
like
don't
he could
know,
be the
man.
replacement for Hartford. Like at least give the guy 2 minutes. Like my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Like I know
He's
offensively
trying
he's
he's
not like him.
Thibodeau really be shooting himself in the foot and he hasn't faced the repercussions for that yet. He's
Well,
really like trying to just drive players into the ground. I don't understand why.
he has the Bulls
Um,
teams because
that
remember,
whole yeah, no, I know, but it's like he's still here, he's still doing his thing. And I mean, Tom Thibodeau to me is a great coach, but I think he's just too hard on his players. Like looking at this minutes right now, Hartenstein 30 minutes, Anunoby, DiVincenzo, Brunson 37, 37, 38, and Hart 48. And then you go to the bench, McBride 21, Robinson 18, Bogdanovich 12. You're trying to kill your starting lineup. Like you need to be able to manage minutes well, or else you can't have a long playoff run. And this is the type of series where you need to preserve your guys, especially now with a 2 point lead. Those guys should not play 38 minutes next game.
yeah, I feel like
They
for
should play
most
like
teams,
35, 34, stuff like that.
I feel like for most teams, the first round, I'm not gonna say it's a bye week, but because especially if you're a higher seed, you're typically versing a worser opponent. So like you don't necessarily have to play your best guys for the whole game. But the
yeah.
Knicks are in a weird situation.
Yeah,
A
you guys
lot.
definitely drew the short end of the stick on that one. Like you strive to be better and you just got screwed
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
because
saying,
we've
bro.
all yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, dang, some of these teams, bro, like, they're not really eighth seeds, seventh seeds, and so it's like, for whatever reason, they sneak into the playoffs, and it's like you. I remember a time when it's like you fought hard for the first seed, the second seed, so that first round you had like a bad team, maybe a young, inexperienced team, pack them up real quick, and now you chilling. You know, now you might see a more real matchup in the second round. But like East and West have both been like dog fights. So now it's looking like last year the Heat were in the eighth seed. If the Heat played hot in the playoffs, if they played like that all year, they would have ended up top three.
Yeah.
Because they were all year they were a horrible offense, bad shooting team. Playoff start, they're a great offense and they're hitting threes at a ridiculous rate. If they did that for the season, they probably would have been the 1-2 seed, you know? So it's like you're dealing with these teams that even like where it's just like you're not a real seven seed. Like LA, LA last
Listen,
year. It's like, yo, I worked so hard for this seeding just to see a team that's mad. You know, it's like, oh, that sucks. I feel bad for them. You know?
yeah, because realistically, Philly is probably a top three seed, four seed for sure. The way
Yeah.
that
Oh
they were
yeah.
going before the Embiid situation, they probably are going to be top three.
Honestly, they may have passed
Um,
the Buck. Like they could be in where the Knicks are right now if he didn't get hurt.
I'd assume so because the Bucks had a long stretch of not playing well, and we had a long stretch of losing games. And when I tell you when Philly was in the mix, it was pretty close between the three. Between the Celtics
yeah,
had a couple game lead, but it wasn't crazy. Philly was like right on our tails. We was always like 1-2 games away from each other, and that's when our schedule was easier, and that's when we was winning more games. So Philly
yeah.
probably would have been a strong 2 seed, I would assume.
I honestly, I I got Philly in seven. Um, no disrespect to the Knicks. I mean, I would love for the Knicks to keep going because just for that New York support. But I just think Philly's a better team. I think with Philly, like you have probably the best player in Joel Embiid, at least right
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
He's him and Maxi, honestly, have been the two best players of the series
Yeah.
so
I
far.
agree.
Maxi's been balling out, and that's on the road. So imagine when they go back at home.
Yeah.
If if Jalen doesn't, snap back into it, these guys are not gonna last long. I think with Philly, it's just managing Embiid and his injury. But if Embiid's still doing 30 and 10 with his injury, and he's not even getting to the line, like he only went to the line like once or twice last night, right? And he
I don't
still
think it was
had
that.
30. Yeah, hold on, let me look at it right now. Embiid, oh, he got to the line a good bunch. I'm like, oh, he got to the line four times, so 8 of 12 from the free throw line. But 34 points, 10 rebounds, didn't shoot well, but he's still gonna put up numbers. Maxi just been shooting lights out. Like there's no answer for him right now.
Yeah.
And with Tibbs, trying to drive his players into the ground the way that he is, it's like, can you really trust them to go the distance? I don't know. I feel like Philly just has more experience. Philly's been through it. You have some solid vets like Nick Batum that first game, you know? Like realistically, that should have been a game that you win because Batum just went off.
Mm.
Um,
They really should have won both
but
games, but we just got lucky. Kind of. I'm gonna be the first one to say we got lucky, and we just like the last seconds we just played harder than them.
yeah, I just saw, like, I'm looking at it right now. It said the last 2 minutes. I mean, we don't really care about the last 2 minute report because we've seen what we saw, but it says the last 2 minute report confirms a foul on Maxi that, and it should have been granted a timeout
Mm.
before that turnover. So that turnover shouldn't have even happened. So that last three shouldn't have even happened in that fashion.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I mean, I think Philly's just kind of getting back into a rhythm. And I feel like if those two guys keep playing the way that they're playing, I don't trust the guys on the Knicks to outlast them. I really don't.
But like I think this is I know you said you liked them better without Julius Randle, but I think this is where he would have helped a lot, especially with Brunson struggling. Because like even though Josh is giving you 20 points, Julius Randle can struggle but still give you 20. You know what I mean? If Josh Hart struggles, that's like 9. That's like 5 points.
I think. I mean, listen, for everybody out there, I'm not a fan of Julius Randle on the Knicks as it is right now because I think he does a lot more detriment to the team than he helps the team. Because a lot of times he'll get the ball and he'll just want to like ISO. He'll want to try to score. He tries to do a lot when he has options. And the few games that before he got injured, he was shooting great. Like he was playing the best basketball that we've ever seen him play. But if he doesn't play that brand of basketball, I think he starts to continue. He's going to continue to take the shots that he's taking, even if he's shooting bad. And he would be the reason that the team loses. I feel like without him, the ball movement is a lot better. Right now, I'm seeing Jalen Brunson play like Julius Randle. He's missing shot after shot after shot,
Yeah.
but he's still trying to take tough shot after tough shot after tough shot instead of saying, okay, let me be a playmaker and try to get these guys involved and let the game come to me, which we've seen Jalen do this entire stint as a Knick and that last year when he went off on the Mavs in the playoffs. He lets the game come to him. I don't think he's doing that right now. I think he's doing a lot of forcing. That's why he's 8 of 20, 26, 8 of 29, this, that, and the third. And the story of it is Josh Hart. And the story of it is Dante DiVincenzo. And if you talk about Jalen, is Jalen going to get back into it? Is Jalen going to do this and that and this and that and this and that? And you're not talking. You forget that Jalen has been that guy for all these years, and you just focused on, well, is this going to keep going on? And now you're questioning him, especially because they were home.
Yeah.
You're home and you play like that. So it's a lot. It's a lot to go into it.
Question.
I like you guys better without Randall. I really do.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Don't you think if the Knicks had their natural second option and Julius Randle there, though, because of the defensive attention he would need to receive, especially with the type of physical player that he is, don't you think that would help Brunson get more better looks and more open looks?
Yeah,
Because
that's what
as
I
it
think.
stands
Yeah.
right now, they just have to key in on Brunson, and they're like, listen, if the role players beat us, they beat us. But if they had Randall, they'd have to focus on both of them.
Yeah. Like I don't know if you were in the chat with us the other night, but I was telling John, I said I like sometimes I do like the way they play without Randall, but like I think he was gonna like that's why I was upset that he wasn't in there because I think he finally learned that he doesn't have to be the first option. Like even last year, like Jalen was like nobody really knew what Jalen was gonna be his first year in New York.
Yeah.
I think even Randall, and that's why he kind of took over in the playoffs. But I think after seeing what Jalen was doing this season, I think he would have said, all right, this is your team. I'm your Robin to your Batman. Just give me the ball and then I'll do my thing in the paint or whatever. Like he'll still take a three here or there, but I think he would have worked in the paint.
I just feel like the attention, because I'm with you. I think Randall can be a bad shot taker a lot of times. And that's my issue with him when it comes to playoff time. Like he can struggle to create his own shot. And he doesn't always have the greatest shot selection. But I do think if they had to focus on him, they wouldn't be able to apply as much defensive pressure on Brunson.
Yeah.
And Brunson would get better shots as a result.
Here's where I disagree to an extent. I agree that it wouldn't be as aggressive on Jalen, right? The defense. But I still think the main game plan for any team that they happen to have faced, because with Randall, again, you don't know if he would have cost them games or if he would have won them games, right? That's just the type of player that I've seen him to be, right? So whoever they would be facing, if it's Philly or the Pacers, whoever it would have been, I feel like Jalen would still get the bulk of defensive pressure because he is that guy that can just go off on a team. I don't think Julius has had that image of him where a team will look at him and be like, oh, well, this guy can go off at any point in time. I just don't believe that any team looks at him like that. So I think it would still be like a man to man matchup with Julius and whoever his primary defender is. And the focus would still be on Jalen Brunson because Jalen Brunson is the guy that can drop 40 on you any night. But Julius is like, okay, he can give you a consistent 20. Maybe one night he can give you 30, but you don't know him to be the guy that's going to go off in a game. So I still think to an extent, like it would help him just to have Julius's presence, but I still think he would be getting the double teams and the pseudo double teams and the major defensive attraction. That's just how I look at it. And I think Julius can and will or would have taken bad shots in key moments because we've seen him do that. Whether he makes them or misses them, that's a different thing. But I think he has so much potential to do more bad than good. That maybe Jalen doesn't even get some of the shots that he could get because Julius wants to take shots.
I feel you. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
so I think Anunoby is not getting the love that he should get. I think Anunoby should be more aggressive and call for the ball more because he's a very capable scorer, very efficient. He's a good shooter, and he's been playing well. I mean, what he put up yesterday?
He wasn't
Yesterday,
great.
10 points. He only had 10 points, but only 10 shot attempts.
Yeah, but I
He's
think he
not
was.
even getting a chance.
I think he was 0
He's,
4 from the three.
yeah, he was 0 for 3 from three, but I don't think he's really getting opportunities. Like him and DiVincenzo got the same amount of shots. I think Anunoby's way better than Dante DiVincenzo, right? I
In
think
fairness,
Anunoby is the type of guy that can create his own shot off the dribble, off ball. I think he's just a really good player, and he's supposed to be the third option on this team, and he's only getting 10 shots.
I
I don't
mean,
I don't know how Josh Hart can be getting more shots than him.
if
That's
I'm
just
going to
me
be
personally.
honest, I think he was not brought to be the third option. I think he was brought to be like the PJ Tucker of that team. If I'm going to be honest.
Really,
Yeah.
I saw him as a third option because I
I would
realistically
too,
think he's
but
the second best player on the team.
based like on the way you see them play, like he's really only there to guard the best player on the opposite team. And we all know that's going to take like a lot of energy out of him. So why would you want him to go get you somewhere like between like 18 and up? You know what I mean?
But Hart can do the same thing. Hart is a great defender.
But
Hart
Hart
can
doesn't.
help him off of
Hart Hart's
whoever.
just on a lucky streak right now. Like we all know he would not be averaging this normally. He's just right now. Like I'm the first to admit, he's like Renan said, they're leaving him wide open, but they're not going to leave Anunoby open because they've seen what he's done on the Raptor teams.
yeah.
You know when he was healthy in the regular season with the Knicks.
Anunoby to me in 37 minutes should get more than 10 shots. I think he's just that good of a player, right? Not no crazy player or anything, but I think he should be in a position to average 20 points. I think he just
Yes,
I think right now he's the second best player on this team, and he's
yes,
not getting a chance to really show that.
but
And
like
I think it's because of how he's a first. It's his first year on the team,
but
so
do
he's
you
not
also
really getting a
could he
chance to
just
really
be
integrate
tired?
himself.
Remember, playoff defense is different than regular season defense. So he's probably using
Listen,
so much more energy.
Tibbs has no issues with energy because he's playing his guys full games.
I mean, I know he
Ananobi
doesn't,
has
but
been in the playoffs. Ananobi has been in the playoffs
yes,
already. He kind
he's
of has
won
an
the chip.
idea of what it's like.
I don't know if
You
you guys
know,
know he was
he
on the
knows.
chip team for the Toronto.
Yeah, yeah, he knows what it's like. I mean, I don't think that's an issue for him. I think it's just a matter of getting him involved because if he gets more involved, maybe he becomes that, takes Julius's place, quote unquote, and now the defense will have to push to him because I think Anunoby is more capable than Randall. He's just not getting the opportunity to show that because they only got him at the trade deadline.
Mm.
Think about that. That's a big thing. They've only had him on the team for a few months, and they haven't really integrated him into the system. They made him into just a regular role player when realistically he can be a third, like at the least a third option.
But
At
remember, like,
least
well, for this team, yeah, but
At least for this team, for this roster, the third option.
you
what
also
can
got
he
to
be at the
remember,
most?
like at full potential.
Second,
Yeah, I think at
second.
full potential, second.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna put him over Jalen. I'm not sick. I'm not sick in the brain.
Oh, you? I
Only
thought you
I
just
think
meant on
he's a
like.
great.
I thought you meant on like another NBA team.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about just this team for now. This team for now.
No, yeah, yeah, he
It
could be a
depends
second
what
on
team
this
he's
team.
going to after that. Yeah, this team, he can be a second option.
But
And
do
I
you
thought that's
think?
what he was going to be.
Do you think a team could win a championship with him as a second option? That's why, like, at first I was saying, like if he was just on another team and they were like good, I think he could be a second option. But if they want to compete for a championship, I don't know if he can be a two.
I
Yeah,
think he peaks
championship?
at third
No.
option.
What was that?
In general
No, what'd you say,
or on
Renan?
this team? He said he thinks he peaks
On a
at
championship
third.
team,
Yeah,
I think he peaks at third
Yes,
option.
I agree with you. On this team, his peak is second. Because this team, as currently constructed, is not a championship team.
even if they were
As
healthy.
currently constructed, even if they were healthy. This team should not be able to compete with Boston. Should not, should not be able to compete with Boston.
Mm,
And the
I
Bucks
think
have
they
too
give
much
Boston some trouble.
I gotta be
the
honest though.
Bucks
I
have
think
too much talent. The Bucks have too much talent and too much experience to lose to these guys, in my opinion.
I know
I
I'm
think the best
biased
two
though.
teams in the East are the Bucks and the Celtics.
I know I'm biased though, but I think the Knicks have a better bench than Boston.
I don't disagree with you, but if Hauser keeps shooting the way that he's shooting, which he can, if Peyton gives me 8 points, if Horford is reliable as a defensive anchor, which he can be, and he can have a game, we've seen it. He can have one game in a series. That's all I want from him. And the starters do their thing. That's it. But for you guys, you need your bench to be there every night. That's the thing. That's the difference. We don't. We're capable of just riding with the starting lineup. If the starting lineup plays the way that they have to play, that's good enough to beat any of these teams. We need a bench for the championship, but not necessarily to get there, depending on who we're playing. I feel like with the Knicks, it's like you need everyone to step up. Where a team as the Celtics, they don't. That's just me.
I think the the Knicks is a team kind of similar to the Heat, not in the sense that they're a hard nosed team. They're a very physical team where they use that physicality to kind of punch above their weight class, so to speak, so that they can kind of potentially beat teams better than them because they're well coached. They have a very big defensive identity.
Mm-hmm.
And if Jalen Brunson's rocking, they have a tough shot maker. Obviously, with Julius Randle, they have a very physical, big body presence. Mitchell Robinson is a dog. And so I think at full strength, I do think I go back and forth with Randle, but I do think depending on the matchup, I could see them presently constructed or with minor tweaks here and there, sneaking into a finals.
You
Um,
can't say minor tweaks in there and currently constructed in the same
well,
sentence.
I mean, currently constructed as in like the main pieces on the roster are still there, but like if
No,
like a
when
random
I say currently constructed, I mean the roster as it is right now.
okay, I well currently constructed depending on the matchups. Yeah, I can see them sneaking into a finals, and maybe depending on who they have to see, then they could win. But it's not. They're never gonna feel like the favorites. I think as currently constructed. So it really depends. You know what I mean? I do think they're a good team though. I wouldn't want to face them. I don't think anybody wants to face them
No, yeah.
just because you know it's gonna be an annoying series. You know they're gonna rough you up a little bit. You know, it's not gonna just be easy basketball. And you know they got a guy who can kind of light it up at any point in time. So I I think they can beat Philly. I think the series is gonna go 7-6. I just need to see what New York looks like in the 76ers floor. I don't think you're gonna hold down Brunson for the entire series. I think eventually he's gonna start being able to score more consistently and more efficiently. But I also do think Josh Hart's gonna come down to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
Or I could also see maybe potentially the 76ers switching up their game plan and maybe now giving Josh Hart a little bit more attention. Because with role
But
players, like the more attention they receive, the harder it is it's gonna be for them, you know?
and
For
then if that happens, Brunson's gonna be, have better looks at least.
exactly. And so I think Brunson functions best when he doesn't have to be like a playmaker. So like you need his shot to fall. I do think he's done a little bit better of a job of getting more his teammates involved over the second half of the season, but I do think he's best when he can just focus on the scoring, let the team kind of, play around that, play around the schemes, and kind of let the offense flow a little bit. So it depends. I think there's a lot of factors at play here. This is a really hard series to judge.
It's a fun
I mean,
series though,
it's gonna be a fun series to watch. But 76ers are a better team on paper.
even
But
when fully healthy.
I think so. I think the way they were playing, the way Embiid was playing before he got hurt, like if you that's really what I'm thinking about, right? When I'm thinking about the 76ers, I'm not thinking about them necessarily now, but I'm thinking about the way they looked. They looked like one of the best teams in basketball
Mm.
when they were fully rocking. So, you know, I feel like they can do it. They got a lot of pieces. Kelly Oubre's been giving them good minutes.
Kelly Oubre is
Maxie's,
so underrated. So
He hasn't
underrated.
been good, which it worries me because he hasn't been as good so far. So I feel like a breakout game might come out.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing, man. The next two games are in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could very easily have a tied series.
yes, but
Yeah. I was about to say. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm banking I think at least one of those games Brunson's gonna have like a 30 plus piece, and I think that's gonna drive us. So then that means going back to New York, we're up at least 3-1.
Who
Yeah.
do you
I was
think?
gonna say.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. I was gonna say that out of these next two games, one of them is gonna be a must win. One of them. Like
Yeah,
I think the next game is a must win.
I can
I
agree to
really
that.
do because I think if you lose that game, you have to win game 5. Like no question. Because Philly can steal we saw it. They can easily steal a game on the road.
Knicks got to take one of the
Easily.
next two. I agree with you.
Yeah,
They have
but
no choice.
I feel like though, say they lose the next game, that ends up prior to the season a 7 game win streak. Like you don't think
Nothing that happens in the regular season matters right now. Nothing.
But you don't think they'll
Nothing.
take a loss and be like, all right, guys, like I know we won. I know you're saying it doesn't matter, but we won 7 games prior in a row. You know, we're they can beat us. Like, you know, let's just settle down, focus a little more. Because Tibbs is gonna
But
have
that's what
something to
they're gonna
say.
say. That's what they're gonna say regardless. When you take a loss, you're gonna say that regardless. You can't look at anything
Yeah,
you did in the regular season at all. That's just my opinion on that.
I
You have to
think
look
what
at what's been going on these 3 games.
I think what S is saying is that because of how close these games have been, that you don't want to give Philly a puncher's kind of chance to get back in the series. So if they go back in and Philly wins the next two, they'd be running with the momentum going back in New York. And knowing how close these games have been, you don't want to put now you're fighting on your back foot. You know what I mean? Your back's starting to get towards the ropes, so to speak, you know? And so it really depends on how these next 2 games go. I think we really see what the series looks like. Because I think if Philly ties it up, I'd probably take Philly winning the series.
My first thought, and then I know Renan, you had a question, but my first thought when I saw Philly lose the game, initial thought that came to my mind was Philly's winning the next 4. That was my first instinct. Even though before the series, even though before the series, I'm thinking, and I still will stick with 7 games. I think it's gonna go 7. But just my initial instinct when they lost, I said Philly could take the next 4 in a row because of the fashion that they lost that game. I think they could take the next. They have very much potential to take the next 4 in a row. But I think Brunson's gonna have a game like you said, and they'll end up winning because of that. And I think it's gonna end up being 7 games. But that was just the first thought that came to my head when they lost the way that they lost. So you just gotta be wary of it. Is my point. Like they could easily, in my opinion, win 4 in a row.
Now,
Yeah.
Renan, you had a question.
Yeah, I got one after. I think it's gonna be a good question.
My only question was, who do you think is the better coach within this series?
Ooh,
Because you
that's
got
Oh,
Nick
Nick Nurse.
Nurse,
Nick Nurse.
and
I,
I tend to agree
yeah,
because I think
I,
I'll say this real
go
quick.
ahead. Yeah,
The way Nick Nurse has been able to unlock Embiid a little bit this year, and like a
Yeah.
lot of the issues Embiid has as like a playmaker when getting double teamed, Nick Nurse kind of built the offense so that when he gets double teamed, that he can make the open read, and it's an easy read, and so now Embiid doesn't have to think as much. And so I think Nick Nurse, and he has the defense really nicely set. I think he can make the adjustments that maybe a Tom Thibodeau wouldn't. So
I was just gonna say I think Nick Nurse is more of a player's coach, and that's why I think it works in this NBA. Like Tom Thibodeau, the way he coaches works as we can see, but like imagine him back in the day where like everyone was playing hard and like would want to play, like not just the 48 minutes, they want to play like 50 plus if they wanted to. Like, so I think that would have worked too in like say the 80s or so. But because of
I don't disagree.
The way the NBA is
Yeah, I don't
now, I
disagree
think
with you.
players like are more leaning towards a Nick Nurse kind of coach than a Tom Thibodeau. And then
Yeah.
my question was so we all see this is a tough series for the Knicks, right? Besides the Celtics, who they could possibly face in the conference finals, is there any other team that can be this physical and good against the Knicks that's in the East right now? Like, is this basically after
Milwaukee.
this round, even as constructed, you think Milwaukee is like can face up with them?
Milwaukee is better than them. That's just my point of view.
I don't
Milwaukee's better
think
than the Knicks right now.
if we're talking physicality, nah, the Knicks are really the
Oh,
they're
physicality, like just being hard nosed basketball, or just
Yeah,
as a team, like
because
yeah,
honestly,
I could give like physicality to the Knicks, but
because
overall, I'm giving that to the Bucks.
I think if the Knicks are able to get out of this series, the second round, either team, it's going to be fairly easier than the first round, and then obviously they'd probably verse the Celtics in the conference finals.
yeah. Like I don't know. Well, it's gonna be. I wouldn't say fairly easier. I do think that the Knicks will have more holes to attack, whether they face the Pacers or whether they face the
They're facing the Bucks.
the
They're facing
Bucks,
the Bucks. Don't worry.
which I got, you know who I got. But I do think they have more holes to attack. Like obviously they're gonna try and get things like Maxi on Dame, things like that. Uh but I do think also too, um we have our offense is probably better than the Knicks' offense. And so we'll be able to make them. It's a different type of matchup, I think. I think Philly has less holes you can look at, so to speak, compared to the Bucks. Like they're probably a more complete team, but I think because of the offense that the Bucks have, because of guys like Dame, and even if Dame's not playing well, just the way you have to guard him, the way that opens up things for Giannis, I think, you know, it's a hard matchup for them, so to speak.
What I want to see, what I want to see, when the Bucks make it, because the Bucks will make it to the second round. If they don't, there's something wrong with basketball. Um, when the Bucks make it to the second round, if they face
Bucks Philly.
either Philly, if it's either Philly or the Knicks, I want to see Giannis guard either Brunson or Maxi. I want to see that. I want to see him guard one of those guys. I
Interesting.
want him to take. I want him to take on the top scorer of the next team. That's not an Embiid, because Embiid is going to be a little, rough. But Brook is going to take that matchup. I want to see Giannis guard one of the guards
Will he
because
do
those
it?
guys can really light it up from the perimeter, where Embiid cannot.
Remember, he did
I
not
want to
guard
see.
KD a lot when it was Nets and Bucks a few years ago.
I'm
All
saying
right.
if Giannis guards one of those two guys, and he puts the clamps on those guys, series done. Series is done.
That's interesting. I think Giannis, obviously, I feel like his true value defensively comes off ball and kind of playing that free safety role. I do think he can guard on the perimeter, can pick it up, but I feel like with guards, he has the length to contest and get back into the play. My only worry would be I don't know if he can stay in front of a guard for 48 minutes.
Mm.
Like I think he could switch on and give good possessions. I don't know that he can necessarily stay in front of a guard the entire
I
game.
want him to I want him to take that matchup because now he has Dame
But
next to him to take the offensive pressure. Now, I think Dame has the greatest potential to have horrible games. But if Giannis can put the clamps on one of those guys, it balances out a potential Dame bad game. If that makes sense. So I think there's a way to work it out. And I
I just
think
think that
Giannis defensively is really good. I mean, we all know that.
yeah, I just think they're gonna put Pat Bev on the best guard and
I
just
think
live with
those
that.
I think the combination of Pat Bev, Middleton, and Giannis on one of the top scorers in either Maxi or Brunson is like hell
Preferably
for
Maxi.
one of those guys. Yeah, it's just hell for one of those guys.
but
Preferably
Like,
Maxi.
but
yeah.
well, finish your point and then I'll say my point.
No, that was basically it. I
I
think
was
they
gonna
should be able to work with that.
Could he do it? Like, do you think he'll be kind of compromised? Because remember, it said 2 to 4 weeks. What's the second round going to be in? Maybe a week and a half at best.
No, it's gonna be more than
No,
that.
I'm not saying like he'd miss the series. I'm just saying even if he comes back, he's not going to be like the same as if he's won 100%.
I think they're gonna, as long as Milwaukee handles their business in this first round, everything is fine. Because I think will get enough time to rest up. I think they're probably gonna I think he could probably come back within like the 2 weeks
So
that they said or
looking at
whatever it
it,
may be.
sorry to cut you off, as looking at it,
Yeah, you're
game
good.
7 would be May 4th if they did it right now.
That's
So
next Saturday. Not like this Saturday coming up, the Saturday after.
yeah. So we're
So that's about a
looking,
week and a half, right?
yeah. And they said that I want to say they said he was out 2 to 4 weeks. What, last week?
I think so, yeah.
So
I
that'd
thought
be
that
around
was
2 weeks.
maybe 2 weeks ago. Because
If it's
wasn't that when
already,
he got injured against the Celtics?
Yeah, but
yeah,
they announced
but
2 to 4 weeks like right before the series started.
yeah, right before the
Oh,
playoffs,
okay.
they said that. So
Okay.
that'd be the 2 weeks right there. Um, hopefully he'd be back in time, you know, or whoever we gotta play. Granted, too, though, like if we finish off the Pacers early, I think we all think you guys are going 6-7. So we'd have to wait for you guys
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the Bucks Pacers goes to 5 max.
Yeah.
Max. That's how I felt before the series. And that game 1 just proved it to me. I mean, I
Or
still question Dame a lot,
yeah.
but I still think they just have too much on that team to lose to the Pacers in a 7-game series. I don't think those guys are
Did the
getting anything.
Pacers
I don't
figure something
believe
out though in the second half because they were started to score a lot. Like we all know they can score, but like the first half was just terrible. They were missing everything, but they started to figure
I don't
something out.
I don't believe in Halliburton and Miles Turner right now.
Yeah,
Halliburton can always grow into being a great playoff performer. I just think he did a lot in the regular season and he was injured. So
yeah,
right now he may not be in the best shape to go and play in a hard-nosed playoff series. But later
yeah.
on when he grows, expands his game, kind of paces himself a little bit, I think he can be, no pun intended, I think he can be really good in the playoffs.
Don't remember too, Benedict Mathurin is out for
Yep.
the season for the Pacers too. And he's a big piece of what they do.
Especially off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You said what? He's really good for them, you said?
Yeah. Shout out my Haitian brother, Benedict Mathurin. Yes, sir. I'm a big Mathurin fan. I gotta get his jersey one day. But
But do you trust him? Do you trust him against this team?
Oh, we don't know.
Mathurin?
He's out. He's out for
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah. I just
Oh,
think
he's out for the
he's a
season. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what
I
I'm
didn't
saying.
even I
Like
didn't even
and
realize that.
plus this
and
would have
he's
been
a
his first playoffs appearance like ever.
yeah. But he's a big part of their offense, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that is a pretty sizable loss for them.
Yeah.
I
For
want to say.
reference, because of work, I haven't gotten to see any of the game ones.
Yeah,
So these guys have given me more information about the game ones, but I did get to see the game twos. And they were really good
Yeah,
games. They were really good games for the most part.
a lot of fun
All right.
games. Um,
I think
that,
I think we're good off of Philly
yeah,
Knicks.
leave it to the New
Um,
Yorkers to talk about the Knicks for an hour when we had literally any other team to discuss. But
we
it was a good
we
discussion
touched
though, man.
on Bucks Pacers.
You want to
Were
continue
you
that?
good off of Bucks Pacers or how you feel about it?
I think we all agree like Bucks are probably gonna win.
yeah, it's just we just gotta handle
How
business.
many games?
We can't fall
I
apart.
How many games you guys got?
I like to be like a little. I like to give like teams the benefit of the doubt, so I usually go like one more than I really think. So I think Bucks in 6.
Yeah, I'd take
So you
6.
think Bucks in 5? Okay.
Yeah, basically.
I
But
That was crazy. That was crazy.
I think
That was
though.
insane.
because
He just told everyone that he's gonna lie. He just told
I
everyone
think
he's
because
lying.
like I said, I want to be right, so I think I have a better chance if I pick a higher number than a lower per se.
I'm weak.
Stop.
I think
Like I think Celtics are gonna win in 5. So what does that tell you?
They should
bring the
win in
brooms
3,
out.
realistically.
Bring the brooms
They
out.
should win in 3.
Where
Go ahead, Reddit. I'm sorry.
but yeah, nah. I've watched the Bucks be like the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and give up a game to like a bad 8 seed. I've watched us give up a game to the Orlando Magic before. Um
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'll never say sweep. Especially given the circumstances now.
Yeah, I don't like
So
saying sweep for series,
I got Bucks probably in 6. Because I do think the Pacers
You
can
think
steal one.
6?
Yeah, I think
You
the
think
Pacers can.
6?
We should beat them. Hear me out. We should beat them in 5. But as a Bucks fan, there's a level of fear
he's
that
being
we could just
realistic.
sell a game at any point. And I think that can happen. I think we're gonna give away a game. We just always do that for some reason.
Especially in, I think in Indy, it's gonna happen.
And then I think there's a chance that they could steal another one. But I do think we're gonna handle the series. So I got them in 6.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Okay.
You know, I just think Dame, is a first round merchant in a lot of ways. So he always plays well in the first round. Um, it's just two offensive teams going at it,
Yeah.
and I just trust the Bucks' offense
Are
better.
are are you worried that he had 0 in the second half the other night? You're just like maybe he's just like we had this huge lead, like he was just gonna take it easy.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that. I think Dame ultimately did what he needed to do. And we was already up big for most of the series, or most of the game rather. Um, but yeah, I'm not worried about that. I think Dame, especially because him and Giannis can get into each other's way a little bit, or rather, Giannis gets in Dame's way a little bit. I think Dame makes Giannis better.
Mm-hmm.
But Giannis kind of gets in Dame's way a little bit sometimes, and so I think because Giannis isn't there, Dame kind of has a free reign to kind of just do everything that Dame does, as well as so I think he's gonna still continue to have a good series. There's no one on that team that can stop him, that can
True.
slow him down for sure. So I don't
You would
see any reason to really be afraid.
you would think Halliburton, because if anything, he's got the length at least. Because we all know Dame's gonna take threes mainly,
Yeah.
I would have thought Siakam.
but then
Yeah,
he would have guarded Giannis if he was there. Maybe I didn't really.
But he's
please,
not there.
I'm not.
please.
I'm
That's
not gonna.
all I ask for.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's all I ask
After
for.
the first half, I didn't really watch because it was like a blowout. But was he guarding Portis at all? Because I feel like that's what they would try to do at least.
Probably. When I started, so for reference, on Sunday I did have a family like party because my great aunt turned 90. Shout out to her.
Shout out to your aunt.
So I
The nine
Hey.
couldn't
zero.
I was getting peaks here and there, so I couldn't like tune in for the full game. So I did see I want to say a couple possessions where Siakam was on Portis, but I can't tell you if he was like on them for like
I
the
got you.
whole stretch. Yeah.
Because if I was Carlisle, I would do like I said, Halliburton on Lillard and Siakam on Portis, and maybe switch to Middleton if he's starting to get hot. Because right now, Lillard and Portis are the two best scorers on the team, in my opinion. Like until Giannis comes back.
That's hard. Middleton versus Portis is a hard conversation for me. Cause I think Middleton can score in more ways, but Portis on the block, man, he's just
He's got the
he
wide eye
when he's
Portis.
on what crazy eye Bobby when he's on the block, when he's on that little elbow, he's hard to stop, man. He is hard to stop. Even when he misses, it's all good looks. You know what I'm saying? But I do think Middleton can score in more ways than Portis can.
Mm,
So that's kind of the balance. But I see what you mean though.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they should handle them. Um, I think to switch gears a little bit, the Magic just don't have the offense to get it done
I gotta
right
say,
now.
I would have favored the
Sweep.
Cavs, but I didn't think it'd be this bad. Like
Get
they're
the
getting beat.
broom. Get the broom.
It's
I think
sad,
they'll take
Get
yo.
a
the
game.
broom.
I think they'll take a
Get
game in
the
Orlando.
broom. Get the
It's
broom.
I'm hoping
Start
that
sweeping.
this isn't what it's looking like, but I just don't think their offense is good enough right now. They're a young team. Paolo's gonna get better. I want to see Paolo more aggressive. Franz is gonna get better. Um, I think they got to figure out their point guard situation.
Yeah, I
Fultz
honestly like the last
is
4 years. Each year, the first round pick has been a point guard. Like I don't know what they're doing.
yeah, they got to figure out who it is and kind of stick with it. I think obviously they should probably get rid of
Honestly,
Fultz.
I'm just thinking about it right now. What if they got DeRozan? Like they're not gonna be a championship team, but they should be a hell of a lot better than they are right now. They got they probably still have picks left over because they've just been bad all these years and they had to trade guys. They got young guards and Chicago needs another guard next to White.
Would you want an old guard when your team is kind of still young and on the come up?
For you mean Orlando?
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna need a veteran eventually as they go through. Like, I mean, these guys will like become veterans because of this year and going forward. But you don't want a guy that's been to like conference finals, like who's been to the playoffs like 7 of the last 10 years, something like that.
That's fair. I don't know if I'm ready to take the ball out of their hands. Yeah, I do think though. Hear me out. Obviously not starting, but I think if they could snag Kyle Lowry, like a Kyle Lowry kind of guy on the bench, just to like mentor, because he does all the little things.
I get
He's
it,
gonna take the charge, make the right kind of plays,
but I'm
mentor them, teach them like how to win. I feel like that'd be a cool little pickup for them.
I'm thinking more of a scorer because, like you said, they're not being as aggressive on offense. It seems.
Yeah, yeah. No, if they could pick up like who was I thinking of?
I know John said Levine a lot, like, and Levine's good, and like I've said he fits the age group of this team, like because he's not old, but at least he's had some experience. But
Yeah.
he's not gonna make them that much better, I think, as DeRozan would.
It's just
Really?
man.
I think so.
I think DeRozan would light it up on that team more so than DeRozan.
Well, I think DeRozan would at least like he doesn't need the ball as much as we think. I think just because he's on Chicago, he gets the ball a lot. But like if he's next to Paolo and Franz, I think he's willing to sacrifice. Like, not saying Levine isn't, but I think Levine wants to be the number one option. He's just not.
I think Paulo and Levine could be a nice 1-2 punch.
That'd be fun to see.
Let's say something about the Magic.
I think we just gotta
Okay.
get rid of Fultz.
Yeah, that time's kind of
That's
like
number one.
it's a good story that he was able to come back from all the shit in Philly, but he's not really doing much for them anymore.
I'm curious to see how Anthony Black may develop with time. As he starts to get more minutes.
Yeah.
Interested to see how that looks. I don't know if Cole Anthony is the one, man.
Yeah, they gotta get rid of
He
either
never.
Suggs or Anthony.
Cole Anthony never was, bro. Like he
Yeah.
never was. Running with what you were saying about Kyle Lowry would be great, but not with Kyle Lowry. Do that joint with a Marcus Smart. Save him from Memphis. I still love
Stop,
Marcus
bro.
Smart. Save him
Stop.
from
Marcus
Memphis.
Smart in
Save
Orlando.
him from Memphis.
Stop,
Save
bro.
him from
Stop.
Memphis. He
Stop.
is so much better than Kyle Lowry, and you know that. Don't even.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
In general, Marcus Smart was better than Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry at his best is better than
Yeah, I'm with Brennan. Kyle Lowry is a way better offensive player than Marcus Smart
God.
was.
Okay, but who's a better defender?
Probably
Don't even hesitate.
I don't.
Player of the year.
I think
Smart,
the gap offensively is bigger than the gap defensively.
Oh
Think
my
about Kyle Lowry was a number 2 on a championship team.
Y'all making my head hurt because they had no other team. The Golden State was injured. Kawhi was just a GOAT. He finally
Okay,
put that was the one
who
season he
did they beat that
played.
year? They beat the number one seeded Bucks. They beat Philly with Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons at his peak.
And Embiid.
Because Kawhi finally played. Kawhi played in a season.
Yeah, I didn't say
Kawhi
he
was
was the number
young.
one, but who was right there
Kawhi
next
was
to
a
him?
great player. He wasn't right there next to him. Stop it. He was like 10, 20 steps down. Stop that right now. Stop
I'm not
it.
saying they're on the same level, but he was
Stop
next to
it.
him.
Kyle
No, he wasn't.
Lowry is.
He was
I'm
looking from
confident.
afar.
Kyle Lowry is confidently better than
I'll
Marcus
tell you
Smart
this
at
much.
his
Oh
best.
I'll
my
tell you, Kyle Lowry is
God.
more of a Hall of Famer than Marcus Smart is.
Kyle Lowry does not deserve no type of Hall of Fame, bro.
This
Oh
guy's
my
like
Kyle
God.
Lowry is
Kyle
comfortably
Lowry.
better than Marcus
Kyle
Smart.
Lowry might be the greatest Raptor in history. Marcus Smart is just another Celtics player at this
Kyle
point.
Lowry is a fake star in this league. Like everybody hypes him up. He might be the most overhyped role player I've ever seen ever in the history of basketball.
That's
Like
a
it is
crazy
actually
take.
insane. It is actually insane the amount of hype he gets. Oh, Kyle Lowry this, Kyle Lowry that. He don't be doing nothing, bro. He does nothing for a team, and he'll get all this hype. Like it is actually insane. Like
Well,
watch a freaking Marcus Smart game and
you know
tell
what
me
he did
like
do, John,
what
right?
he's done.
He
Marcus
helped the
Smart.
team win a
Ooh.
championship. Has Marcus Smart done that?
Y'all gotta stop, bro. It's people like
Mar-
you that push these false
Has Marcus
allegations,
Smart helped the team
these
win a
false
championship? No, he has
narratives.
not.
Oh my God, bro.
I don't.
They
Guys,
literally
we're witnessing Celtics bias.
Has Charles Barkley ever helped the team win a championship?
no.
No. Is he great?
Yes,
Yes.
he is
Is
great.
he better than most people that have played in the league in
Yes.
history? Yes.
What does that have
So
to
I
do with
don't want to
Kyle
hear
Lowry
that.
and Marcus Smart?
I don't want to hear that argument.
We're,
He helped
we're
the team
in
win a champ. I
Celtics
don't want to hear
bias.
that argument. Did Sean Livingston help a team win a championship?
Yes.
Yes. Is he that great?
No.
No. Okay. I don't want to
Sean
hear this as an
Livingston.
argument.
Listen, Sean
He
Livingston.
was a great he was a mid-range merchant. He's great on the mid-range.
I was about to say
Was he that great of a player? No. I don't want to hear this as an argument.
Respect Sean
Don't
Livingston.
like take. I do. He was a great mid-range shooter. That fadeaway was untouchable.
Beautiful.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that as the main argument, bro. I don't want to
I'll
hear that as the main
go and I'll
argument.
be right back.
All right,
All
you
I-
good. You good.
All I'm saying is the Celtics bias is ridiculous, but I just don't think the gap between their defense is that I'm not high on Marcus Smart's offense. I'm just not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I really don't like his decision making on offense. His shot selection can be spotty at times.
He's a
I
way
don't
better
think
playmaker than Kyle Lowry.
I don't think he's the shooter that he thinks he is.
Neither is
Nor do
Kyle
I think
Lowry.
he's the scorer that he thinks he is.
Neither is Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry functions better in an offense than Marcus Smart does. When it comes to running the offense,
He is not a
yes,
better
bro.
playmaker than Marcus Smart.
I disagree with that.
Oh!
I disagree with that. I'm sorry. I disagree with that.
Did you see the video? I think it was the same dudes that do the basketball podcast that you were talking about, and it's like one of the older heads. Somebody said that somebody was better than Tim Duncan, and he was like, "Oh my God, you have no idea how good Tim Duncan
Yeah.
was." You say that? Right,
When
that's
dude
me
said
right
that
now.
Anthony Davis was better
Oh my
than Tim
God, you
Duncan.
don't know how good Marcus Smart was. Oh my God. Like that's how I feel right now. By the way, Anthony Davis over Tim Duncan is an insane take.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
but it's
I'm just
okay.
not
It's
high
I'm
on
okay.
with
Marcus
I'm
Smart
with Renan.
offensively.
I'd rather have Kyle Lowry run my office than Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart is a better player. I'm not talking about this no more. How we feeling about the passing of the torch with KD and Anthony Davis? I personally
Oh,
love what I
that
saw.
was awesome.
I love that. It wasn't so much of a passing of the torch as much as a taking, but I loved it. Anthony was talking all that smack. I think KD's dropping 50 in game two.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean,
It
yeah.
was
I think
listen.
I think KD's dropping 50. Is
I
that
think
tonight?
Devin. Yeah, I think Devin Booker is more likely to drop 50 than KD because Devin Booker had a bad
Mm-mm.
game.
The
I
way
think KD's
Ant-Man
dropping 50.
just like I like first of all, I do want to start putting respect on KD's name because the past few years, the defender that he's become, he's actually been a really solid defender since his Golden State days. And we don't really always talk about that much, but Ant just getting the ball, KD switches on to him, and he's just not afraid to just let it fly, pull it in his face. Like I just think like that just mentality. I don't know that Ant's ever gonna be the best player in the league. I don't think he will, but that just mentality of just not being afraid of whoever's in front of you, going at them, talking the whole time. Like that stuff is good for the league, bro. It's just like that
Yeah,
level of competition. I love to see it. And I think if Ant can be that consistent closer for the Timberwolves, it can get very scary because I think the way their defense is set up, they're set. I still think they're the best team set up to beat Denver. And the way that's set up, if he can,
My fault. Let's keep going. Just give me a
yeah, I think if he can just be that consistent option in the fourth quarter, then they're gonna give teams a lot of trouble in the coming years.
yeah. What I like about him is he's just like real. Like when he does like a post game interviews, that like like remember when he got the block and he's just like, oh shit, I didn't even know I can jump that high.
I love it, bro. Just like that energy is so good for the league. I know a lot of people are saying, this might be one of the best, might be the best, but I don't think he's ever gonna be that. But I
He'll
do
be top
think
five though.
yeah,
I
I
think,
do
yeah.
think we can get to a day when he's gonna be a top five player. And just the energy that he brings is just beautiful for the league. Um, I really think like if he can be consistent with that, especially with the three ball, because he's not the greatest shooter. If he's able to let it fly, almost kind of like a Luca, where Luca's really not the greatest 3-point shooter, but like Luca has this tendency to make it when he needs to,
Mm.
kind of thing. If Ant can get to that kind of level, it's gonna be rough, man. They're gonna be a hard out, you know. So I definitely like that. Obviously it's not over, you know. It kind of reminds me like S was talking about how when the Clippers, when it was Pat Bev and Lou Will talking, because everybody was jacking, they was locking up KD the first like 2 games of the series. Then KD had like 50 or something, and they were like, "Listen, we promise you, we tried to guard him." Like, I and the way KD was smiling at Ant, I do think he got something for him. But love to see it, man. Love to see it. I think Devin Booker is gonna be Devin Booker soon.
Yeah, he's gonna come
Um,
back with vengeance, I think.
but yeah, they're just a great defensive team. So, and the Suns not having Grayson Allen,
Oh, he's
um,
out.
I want to say right. I believe
I didn't know
so.
that.
I could double check just to make sure I'm not spewing false information. Um, yeah, so he might. So yeah, I think he went out hurt during game one and didn't come back in the rest of the game.
Mm,
And game two is a question mark. So that was just one shooter on the floor that they just didn't have.
yeah.
Hurts their spacing a little bit. Um, So I do think like this is definitely not over. Obviously, I got the Timberwolves winning this one.
Same.
Um, but it was just I think this is gonna be one of those series that's good for basketball.
But like I
You know,
said, like Phoenix is in trouble because besides Nurkic, they have no size, and that's why I think Minnesota like kind of built their team perfectly. I know everyone was hating the Gobert trade, but if you look at the West, there's really no bigs besides Jokic.
that's why I'm telling y'all the double big lineup is really the key. I is one of the keys I want to say to stopping, well, not stopping, but slowing down Jokic. Because if you have one big, right, like for instance, last year when they put AD on Jokic, you know, Jokic could still score, but also too, Jokic now is just okay. I'll just play make. So I'm gonna hit Aaron Gordon on the cut. I'm gonna hit Christian Braun on the cut, and those kinds of things, right? But then when they took AD off and they were like, okay, we want to kind of we need that paint protection, so we're gonna take AD, have AD kind of sit in the paint, put Rui on Jokic, so now AD can like rim protect against cutters and stuff like that. Okay, boom. Now Rudy isn't big enough to guard Jokic, so now Jokic can put up numbers. You know what I'm saying? And kind of thing. And then there's still, actions you can run to get AD out of the paint. And now Jokic is just cooking and killing him. And then if AD goes to double, hitting someone open. So I think when you have the double big lineup, you can put someone on Jokic. I'm not saying he's going to stop them, but you can slow him down a little bit because he still has the big body, still can deal with someone who's physical. But if he tries to hit cutters, you can still have that free safety kind of player who can still rim protect, still kind of, slow that aspect down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, if you just have that, and then people who, point of attack defenders who can just try their hardest to stay in front of their man, not saying you're going to win every possession, but I think you got that, then, that's your best shot. And even Jokic said it themselves. Like the Nuggets said it themselves that Minnesota was their toughest matchup. And I think that's a big reason why. That's why I always like the Bucks chances, but Brook Lopez is a slower footed big and he's aging. So
Yeah.
that's why I liked our chances going into the offseason. Last year going into this season. Because that double big lineup is what gives them trouble.
What about you, John? I know you're not like the biggest Minnesota believer.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. No, I don't like him at all.
Like even in
I
this
love
series, you don't like him?
Anthony Edwards. No, no, no. In general, I don't like the whole double big lineup. I think it just never works, or in the long term. I don't think it works.
Tim Duncan and
Explain.
David Robinson.
Explain, because I
How
think you're
long ago
crazy.
was that? I think in this
Probably like 30
NBA
years
right
ago or
now,
close
like
to it.
with Cat and Rudy
Respect
Gobert.
Brook Lopez and Giannis.
That's not
Bobby
really
Portis.
like a double big lineup the way that this is a double big lineup. When I talk
How?
about a double big line, can you wait? Can you wait? When I'm referring to a double big lineup, I'm talking about two guys that can be a natural center, right? Who is gonna lock down the paint most of the time, do their work down low. That's what I'm talking about, the double big lineup. That's what Minnesota's double big lineup
That's
is.
the problem is your definition is stuck in 1995. Okay, I'm with you now.
You have a double big lineup just because those guys are like bigger guys. But Giannis doesn't play like what a center is doing. Like Giannis is a point forward.
Yeah, your
He's not like
definition is
a
just archaic.
big. He's not a big that's gonna be like in the paint doing his work. Whereas Minnesota, they have two bigs that do their most of their damage in the paint. Because Cat, I don't trust him on the outside.
But the 3 point.
Defensively or
No, you're talking
offensively?
about You're talking about shooting threes, right?
Give me 2 minutes. You guys discuss it. Give me.
Oh, he knows he was about to get cooked. He knows he was about to get cooked.
You
He
gotta
knows.
leave this in. It's showing how you gotta leave this in the final cut, showing how he's getting
He
exposed.
knows. Look at him ducking smoke right now,
If
bro.
he's
This
talking
is
about
nasty.
offense, didn't miss correct me if I'm mistaken. Didn't Cat win 3-point contest one year? Didn't he have like one of the
That's
highest shooting 3-point percentages for a center in history like a few years ago?
Cat is literally the best 3-point, like the
Big
best
man,
shooting
yeah.
big man. Yeah,
He's like next to remember that guy on the Spurs? Oh, what was his name? Matt Bomber or something?
I think so. Yeah,
He was a white guy, but he was like a center, like listed.
yeah,
Yeah, that's who he is, but he's just better. He's more athletic, also.
yeah. Like this is very nasty. Um,
He left in the middle of a show to get his facts together. Come on, man, you gotta be prepared.
he started googling as hard as he could. But in the meantime, we could switch gears since I did mention Denver. I'm
Hmm.
curious. I want to pose a question that I was thinking about as I was watching the Lakers v Denver the past two games. Is the Denver Nuggets defense worse than it was last year? Because in the
It
last two
definitely looks
games,
like it, yeah.
especially when it was close, I'm watching Denver. I'm watching
Yo,
like
I gotta go for like 15 minutes. Like, can you guys good?
Yeah, we can hold you
I.
down.
It depends.
Like
There's a chance there might not be a pod happening when in 15 minutes. I don't know. We'll see.
just yo, you guys just gotta hold off. I gotta drop it to the freaking ass. Like, just give me 15 minutes max. I will speed down and come back. I will speed down and come. And just give me a few minutes.
What are
Just
you
kind of,
charging? What are you charging as the Uber fee?
bro. I wish I was charging the Uber fee. Just try to, you know, drag out like this conversation, and then I'll come back to it. Like, just try to just do something. I don't know what you're gonna do. Just figure it out.
I mean,
I will
I'll
speed
talk.
down and come back.
If
Yeah,
if we reach a
y'all just keep going.
if we reach a natural conclusion, is it okay to end it, or do you want us to finesse it?
Yeah, should I say that I'm gonna just step out for a second, or are you guys gonna do that for me?
We can take care of that for you if you need to.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah, just I was gonna ignore the text. I see in the text I was ignoring it. She called. I was
She can't just
like,
take the car.
she don't drive, bro. She don't
She's
fucking
does
drive.
she have a license? She can drive.
Yes,
She can drive then. Tell her that.
bro. I'm so mad. But just hold down the fort, please, please, please. I'm begging you, just hold on the fort. I'll be back. I'm leaving my. Should I just? I'll just stop my cam, stop my mic, and y'all just keep going.
I'm just gonna
Gotcha.
remove you from stage.
Okay, yeah, do that. Yeah, and I'll come back. I'll be back in short order. I'll be back in
All
short
right.
order. Just hold down the fort. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I didn't. You know I don't want to do this. All right, later.
You know what makes this worse, right? Since he's
What?
dropping her off, he's gonna have to pick her up again. so
Yeah,
he
he's cooked.
so yeah, he's gonna come back and what did you say? 15 minutes. So that's 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back, and another who knows half hour. She can call him and say I'm done.
Yeah, he's cooked. But if it's a nail salon, that joint takes a minute usually. So,
True.
all right. So start it back in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, when it comes, yeah, guys, as
John S
had
had to
to.
leave for a few minutes, but he should be back quicker than later.
If he's not back, hey man, you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Right now, this is the new podcast, bigger and bigger.
Hey man, we're the twin towers right now,
Exactly.
you know. But yeah, what I was saying with Denver, I'm watching them, especially game two. I really started to notice it. Like the game's close, and I'm looking at just how guys like D'Lo was able to just get to the lane, boop, score. Like Denver tied it, and literally the next play, D'Lo just the Nuggets are back, but their defense isn't like set, and D'Lo
Yeah.
just outruns them, and gets to the lane real quick and scores. And even just how like a big part of why the Lakers are so close is just like it looks like they haven't had a whole lot of trouble scoring. Granted, I think there's just nobody who can really stop the Nuggets offense.
Right.
So I still have them as the favorites to win the championship this year. But I just think it's interesting because I'm like, I remember last playoffs, even though people harped on their defense in the regular season, they were able to string together stops. They were able to get a lot of stop possessions, and try different coverages that made teams struggle. But I'm looking now, it looks like, wow, okay, it looks easier to score on them right
Right.
now
Yeah.
than it did last year. And I don't necessarily know why. Maybe losing a guy like Bruce Brown,
I was
who's
just gonna
giving them
bring that
good
up. Yeah.
minutes defensively, could be the reason. But most of their personnel has stayed the same
Well,
since then.
also,
So
I know Jeff Green's older, but he was just another body up there that like to get physical.
yeah, that's also true. I know now they're playing Reggie Jackson more than they played him last year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's hurting them defensively. I saw DeAndre Jordan getting a lot of minutes,
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot relatively speaking.
yeah. Well,
So maybe
especially in this series, you have to because Jokic has to rest, and then who's gonna guard Aiden when Jokic is out?
yeah. So I don't know if maybe that's the thing that's hurting them. Um, Another thing that's interesting is AD's foul trouble.
Mm.
Um, I feel like look for that in the next few games, to be very interesting if AD can't stay in front of Yoke without fouling. Because if that's the case, if I'm Jokic, I'm going at him every play. Try and get him out the game. Try and get them putting other people. Try and get them putting Rui on me. So I thought those were kind of the two notes that was interesting. You know, I feel bad for the Lakers because even last year, a lot like 3 out of those 4 games were close. You know, it's just
And they
it's
had a
just
lead in a lot of them.
yeah, maybe a couple things go differently. They win some of those. But I was telling my friend because he's like, oh, Denver's, oh, LA is up at the half, it's looking good, etc. And I'm telling him, I'm like, bro, Denver is similar to Golden State in that like you want to beat them in the third quarter. You want to come in the fourth quarter and you're up 20,
Yeah.
25. You want to have a big lead. You want to end the game early. Because if it's a close game, that Jokic Murray pick and roll, they're just gonna beat you offensively to the death. Like you're not gonna string together a lot of good defensive possessions. And they have people who, even if you're having good defensive possessions, can make tough shots. MPJ can make a hard three, even if you close out good. Jokic can make hard shots, especially in the paint. Jamal Murray can make tough shots all over the floor. KCP even,
Yep.
can make tough shots here and there. So it's just one of those things for me that I'm looking at. I'm like, I do say now the game's a little bit more open because if they're struggling defensively, if they run into a good offensive team, maybe you might be able to outgun them. That might be your best bet, you know? Or if you could string together like how the Miami Heat last year was shooting like 45 from 3,
Right.
if you could get a team that could like just like light it up from 3, this might be the time to pack up Denver. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if you got anything else you want to say about that.
I just I was telling S the other day, I was like, I feel like because he kept saying sweep, sweep, and it is looking like that. But I said, I don't think so. I'm thinking like I was thinking 6, but that's just being kind now. Probably. I was like, I think LA's going to get a game because the difference from this year and last year is that was the conference finals. Remember, LA had to go through the play in, then Memphis, then Golden
Yeah,
State, and now this year it's just like they only had to go through. They played New Orleans, and that was a
yeah.
tough game, but
LeBron's
still,
energy is looking better.
yeah, exactly. And like even this series, like last year, they've had leads, and then I don't know what goes on in the second half. They just lose them, and they had double digit leads.
Yeah. No, it's true. I wanna believe in the Lakers, but until I see them take a game, it's hard.
But
It's
now it's in
hard,
LA, so maybe.
you know. So I just feel like if it's close, Denver's gonna find a way to win. They're
Yeah,
just that type of team. So I feel like, do I believe the Lakers can blow them out and take a game? Yeah, of course. It's just, are they? Like, if I'm them, I'm talking to the team like, yo, go create the first 3 quarters of the game. Treat that like that's the whole game. Like, we want to be up 30 if we can going into the fourth. You know what I'm saying? So that way it's like they just give up. They're like, you know what? There's nothing we could do.
right. Yeah.
Let's just let it rock. So on that front, um, I do, but I just thought that was interesting
But
with their
like
defense.
we could be like those LeBron lovers and say, "Oh, the high altitude in Denver. That's what's getting to them."
Or, but I do think now it's a chance. You know, it's a little bit less wear and tear on LeBron, right? You have more. The first round, there's a little bit. You got more days in between playing games than you do in like the conference finals.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit more rest. AD's been looking good these past few games. So I do feel like, now is the time to knock them off. And if they knock them off, I know every team in the West is smiling because they're like, the West just became wide open if they get knocked
Well,
off.
you know what they're missing also? Reeves. He hasn't been like he had last year. Shout out to my white brother, Austin Reeves.
Um, you know, I do say like he made a couple good shots for them. He hasn't like exploded offensively like he was last year,
Yeah.
but he has been able to make the tough shots here and there for them. He had a couple good middies that I was seeing. Like, it had me thinking, I'm like, if we can't keep Middleton, like,
Go get
obviously I don't
Reeves.
think LA would give up Reeves, but if we could
Honestly,
snag like a Austin Reeves type of player, that would be great. Like, he's a great, I want to say, fourth, third option. You
that would
know,
only happen if like Lillard demanded a trade and LA was in on it. Like because the Bucks would want something, so give him Reeves.
yeah. So that's the thing. But if we could like in an ideal world, right, where we could just get anybody and we don't have to give up our main pieces,
Yeah.
Austin Reeves would be a nice pickup. Um, so there's that. I'm trying to think any other games I want to talk about.
I
Any other
mean,
games I
I
want
don't
to
know
get
how
off my
far you want to
chest.
get without John S. Because like we can talk about OKC, LA and Mavs would be a good one.
LA and Mavs is an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, we listen, bro. The show got to go on. You know what I mean? I don't know what time he's coming back.
Let's try to go through OKC and see where we get. Because what I saw from the first game is what I'm worried about them, and mainly the one guy, Chet. He got out rebounded on offense so much by Valanciunas.
Chet, I really do think that OKC needs another big, just because at
I
least
said
until Chet can get bigger, but
I
that's
said
gonna
at,
take time.
at the
You
trade
know?
deadline, I said they should have been one of the teams that tried to go for Andre Drummond.
Yeah, just because
Just a
you
big
can
body.
out physical Chet, and Chet's their line of defense. You know, and Chet's a great defender. I don't want to make it seem like he's
Yeah.
not, but when he goes against the bullies of the league, he's gonna struggle. He has the length to make up for it here and there. But he's gonna struggle. And the OKC Thunder are actually like one of the worst rebounding teams in the league.
Yeah. 'Cause-
So, and part of that is, Chat not being, the most physical. But I think as a team too, they don't have really a lot of crazy rebounders. Um, and like they like to get back on defense. So they give up possible offensive rebounds that they maybe could have had, different things like that. And they're kind of a small team too,
yeah.
minus Chet.
After Chet, I think the biggest guy, and it's probably a few of them, is like 6'9", and it's that the other
Yeah,
Jalen Williams. He's
J.
like an undersized big.
Yeah, they be playing J Dub as power forward, which is like I don't think he's really a power forward. So yeah, so it's kind of weird. I know Giddy is like what 6'7", 6'8",
About. I'm so
but
disappointed in him.
he doesn't play as big.
He's
It
been
feels
very
like as
bad
the
this year.
Williams.
Like I know he had some
Yeah,
scandals early on, but even after that, when it was all resolved, he still wasn't playing good.
I just think like he's he's not a shooter, and so
No.
being on this roster where he can't really have the ball in his hands like he would probably need to, because I think he's a solid playmaker.
Yeah,
He can score in terms of like getting to the rim, but I think he needs to be around more shooters. But asking him to shoot isn't really, perfect for him. So I think, I do think he still, as a player, has space in the league,
yeah.
um, and can do well. I just think I don't know that OKC is necessarily the right team for him.
Hey, that's a
You
good
know,
trade piece then if they want like a second star, like a true second star next to Shea. Like, because I
yeah.
think Jalen Williams is going to be good, but I don't know if he'll be like star potential.
I don't know because he's still young, and the jump that he made so far, like he's one of those players who can do a little bit of everything offensively.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's a recipe for a perfect side player. Side player as in like a number two option. Doesn't necessarily always need the ball in his hands, but can shoot, can get, all of that. Everything offensively you would want him to do, he can do. So I feel like he's solid. I definitely want to see where his development goes, because if he kind of peaks at a little bit better than this, then he's really a third option. But if he can get better, then we could see him being that option. I know Chet has the potential to get better too. Um, get stronger, maybe
it's
get a little
crazy
bit
though.
more aggressive because he offensively he works in the flow of the offense. You
Yeah,
know, so I don't know if he has an untapped shot making ability or shot creation ability, or if he can, you know, get a little bit better off the dribble and get like a pull up game where he can just consistently go to. And that could be right there, the potential second option. I just think, if they could find a way to give up Josh Giddey to get a big, and it doesn't have to be like a top tier big, like an all-star level big,
no,
but
yeah. Like,
just,
who
you
knows?
know,
Maybe. I was
a
gonna say
guy
maybe.
who's a guy who's switchable because they
Yeah,
love to switch. So a guy who's switchable can guard a couple positions, maybe not 1 through 5, but maybe 3 through 5. You know, um, can block shots, but Chet really can do the free safety. So just rim protect a little bit, rebound a little bit. You know, um, be that true kind of big. I feel like that'd be perfect for them. And then that way you can kind of have Chet really play that free safety role, and he doesn't have to deal with the straight up physicality of like a stronger big,
yeah,
power forward or center. You could just put that big on them. So yeah, I'm sad because Zion's hurt.
yeah. That
Um,
sucks. Because honestly,
which
like if he played the other night, they probably would have won New Orleans.
hmm the strain he put on a team like New Orleans, just because of how physical he is. The strain that he will put on them is just, you know, I feel like tough for them. Oops, sorry, wrong button. But I do, miss him to a certain extent. I do want to see what's his name on the Pelicans. Ingram. I do want to see Ingram playing better.
Yeah, he played good in the playing without Zion. Then yes, the other night he was all right, but
I
but
was
they
I was telling. Oh, you got it.
I was just gonna say they. I hate to say this, they look good when Zion was there, but sometimes they look even better when he's not playing.
Yeah, I can understand that to a certain extent because I feel like with certain players, like the role they kind of play on their team, and I feel like especially you see this when players aren't strong playmakers, you know, um, or potentially a little bit like ball dominant and everything like that. I feel like when you're kind of ball dominant and not the greatest playmaker, teams can look like they're better without you just because the ball might move around more freely. Guys is maybe not getting better looks, but because they feel a little bit more encouraged to move around and everything, you know, um, certain things like that. Even like the ball doesn't stop when the ball's not in your hands. Because I think back to players like Harden and Westbrook, where when they weren't involved on the possession, or Luca now, when they're not involved in the possession, they're just standing there.
Mm.
And so it's like when you don't have, when your lead ball handler is someone who moves off ball now. So like say Zion's out and you got, CJ McCollum getting more touches. He's someone who if he doesn't have the ball in his hand, he's coming off screens, he's moving around the court, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So, now you have more players on the floor who are moving around the court, who are getting open, getting looks. So I feel like that's why you can see that sometimes. But I definitely do think to beat a team like OKC, they would need him. I do want to shout out Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. Those are dogs, man.
man.
Those
Yeah,
are dogs. Herb Jones is so good.
probably two of the top 5 underrated players in the league.
So underrated. And they're young too, I want to say. So it's like, the
I think
Pelicans just have such a well constructed team.
I know, and then just the one guy they need, the star, is just always hurt.
Like he's the guy, that if he's healthy, man, sky can be the limit. And I was curious too because I mentioned in our group chat before that I think that Zion has some deficiencies, like how he only goes left a lot of times. His decision making can be spotty.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very curious. Part of me wanting to see him play in the playoffs was not only just to see him play, but also to see like if teams would key in on things like that. Maybe to force him right. Um, little things like that. And see if like is there teams that can really just like shut him down. So I was curious to see about that, but I guess we're gonna have to wait till next year. OKC they should handle this series.
Yeah, like honestly, I think this one's gonna go 7, but I still think they're gonna win in the end.
Wow, you think it's gonna go 7 without
Just
Zion?
because, just because the physicality on the boards, it's like the Knicks almost because they're just gonna outboard Chet because he's just so thin.
So if they had Zion, would you have the Pelicans beating OKC?
Honestly, yeah, I think I would
I
because
understand that.
I think the Pelicans are one of those teams. They're not really a play-in team, but you gotta look at the West. I think every team up to like the Pelicans had 50 wins or more.
Yeah, this was like the first time in NBA history they had like multiple 50-win teams.
Because like if they were in the East, they probably would have been like fifth or fourth, I think, based on record.
Yeah, because if you look, um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the top 5 teams are all 50-win teams in
That's
in the
crazy.
West. The Pelicans and the Suns are at 49. So the top 7 is almost all 50-win teams. And then if you look the on the East, the Knicks and the Celtics are the only 50-win
Yeah.
teams plus in the East. So like the
Yeah.
entire top 5 or the top 4, depending on if Mavericks had the tiebreaker, could fit in between the 1 and 2.
That's crazy.
like, 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 that is, oh my gosh.
Like if they did like a 1 through 16 playoff seeding, most of these East teams wouldn't even make it probably.
Yeah. No, it's true because if you think about it too, like these Western teams have that record while playing other Western teams most of the
Yeah.
time. So imagine if now, you know, like I'll be honest, the Bucks, a lot of our wins we got was seeing guys like the Pacers, seeing guys like the Heat, the not the Heat,
Well, I wouldn't
the
say the
Hawks.
Pacers this year. The Pacers took 4 out of 5 from them.
Oh, okay. See, that's my
Yeah.
bad. That Giannis 60-point game living rent free in my head right now.
That's the only game they won, I think.
That's why he needed that ball back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's probably on his shelf of awards and be like, first game beat the Pacers.
yes, sir. But yeah, if you didn't have to see, just because the bottom of the East is like way worse than the bottom of the West. And so I think like if you did like 1 through 16, but like they all had to play say you had to play every team 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's a little bit more games. Um, but you see every team 3 times, like the seeding would look very different. Some of these Eastern Conference teams that look good would not be their record would be a lot worse.
Like I said, like Orlando wouldn't probably make it. Cleveland would probably be, if it was still a play-in thing, a play-in.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana probably wouldn't make it. Based on how the
But
Bucks played this year, they probably would have been like play-in or low seed.
yeah, we'd probably be like if it's 1 through 16, we might end up like 13,
Yeah,
12. So it's an interesting thing because the East feels like there's parity, but the difference is like just the level of competition. It's like there's parity in the sense that there's a if we were saying there was levels to this, right? If you have a group of level 5s fighting each other, right? It's parity because we're all level 5s. You don't know who's the best level 5 or whatever. But
yeah,
the West is like a group of level 8s fighting each other, where it's like there's still parity. So there's still parity on both sides. It's just one is better than the other, you know.
true. Yeah,
And so that's the part that's kind of nasty. Um,
that's why
you
the
know,
West is the best.
yeah, and I think whoever comes out the West is probably winning, but it just depends on how they match up with the Celtics. Obviously, I think the Bucks got a shot to make the finals, but there's more question marks on us than there is, the Celtics or potentially Philly too. But I trust us. I think we have the best player in the conference, and they, Dame and Giannis open up each other's games. Um, so I trust that, but I do recognize that we got a lot of holes in our roster and things need and
Yeah,
have things that need to change. Um, but yeah, anything you want to say today? Anything else you want to say about OKC and the Pels?
Just for OKC, like go through this, this series, win or lose. It's a learning experience because next round, Mavs or Clippers, like it's probably over for them. Like if it's Clippers, I think I'll lean toward OKC a little. If it's Mavs because of Gafford, Lively, and even some degree Washington, I think Mavs got it.
Yeah, yeah. If it's the Mavs, it's gonna be tough for them. You know.
Because you like I know what they got. They got Dortz is probably their best defender, right? He can't guard Luca and Kyrie at the same time.
Yeah, you got to pick one. I think Shea and J Dub are decent defenders, but they're not slowing guys like that down. And I think when you have bigs like Lively, Gafford, even PJ Washington to a certain extent, yeah, I think Chet's gonna get his blocks and gonna eat. But like you said on the boards, it's gonna be
Yeah.
tough for them. Um, just Luca being Luca is gonna be rough. I did want to speak on Shea's performance because I know some people was ready to hate on Shea. I do think that like you know he was struggling at first, but I think
Yeah.
he's gonna figure it out. Towards
Yeah.
the end of the game, he started figuring it out.
Yeah. They
Started
gotta
cutting
remember
into the teeth of the defense.
people gotta remember this is like he was in the playoffs before, but one, as we discussed, that was the bubble. And two, the leader was Chris Paul. This is the first time he's really the leader of a team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's not even just that. Like it's different from like a Jason Tatum, for example, who was in the playoffs early. Wasn't the first option, but like every other year after that, he was still in the playoffs,
Yeah.
getting better, getting more experience. Shea was in the playoffs one time, and then for like the next 3 years was not even anywhere close to that.
He truly had time to develop his game.
Yeah, but you're not seeing the playoff
Yeah.
defenses. You're not getting comfortable in those moments, you know? So that's the thing too. And people Shea is young, but he's not young. Like bro's 26 right now.
No. Is he? No. That would mean
Yeah.
he's in the league like 7 years.
Shit.
I think he's like 24.
Oh my bad. He's 25, but he's turning 26 this year. This
Okay.
July he'll be 26.
All
So
right.
by the end of the season he'll be 26. Right? So he's not the youngest dude. Like this is it's starting to get to that time where it's like we gotta start seeing something from you.
Yeah.
But I do think he's gonna be all right. I think you know he's gonna be just fine. But it's like he had a long time of not being in the playoffs, so it's different.
Playoffs is
It's
a
not,
different animal.
yeah, and you're not seeing those playoff defenses, and your only experience you were there, you weren't the number one option, so guys weren't keying in on you, and also too you was a young player. So people weren't expecting you to play as well as you did. So there just was a whole lack of scheming on you in general. So I think that's gonna play a role in it as well. So that's the tough part.
Yeah.
Um Clippers and Mavs.
Honestly, like that should be the funnest series of them all. Like that's like right above Knicks and Sixers for me, in my opinion.
That's the one I want to see personally. Um, people were telling me like, oh, Clippers smoked them, but I'm like, yeah, that's fair. But the Clippers was also shooting like 50% from three.
Yeah.
They hit like 18 threes, and whatever double that is, they took. And the Mavs, by comparison, shot like 37% from three. Any team, especially in today's league with the amount of threes taken, when you're shooting 50, 45% from three, you're probably gonna win. Like
Yeah,
That's
most
just
likely.
math, bro. Like that's how that joint works. And so it's like I don't think they're gonna do that every game. So I think people don't overhype it. Don't get too excited, Clippers fans. Harden had a great game though. Shout out to him.
I was just
But
gonna
I
bring
just
up we've seen this before. You'll have a game or two, and then the next 3 games you'll do nothing.
that's the thing. Like I always feel like especially Harden now, because I don't think Harden is a choker people paint him out to be in his prime. But Harden right now, I think he's gonna give you a couple games playing well, but those are the games you should win. And they won. So shout out to them. But Harden's going to sell as well. And
Yep.
so those are the joints where you gotta figure out what to do. And you have Harden and Westbrook, two people who are gonna give you good minutes sometimes, good games, but also liable to sell. So I'm curious to see how that works. Clippers fans, don't get too excited. I'm sorry, it's not over yet. Um,
They've had a lifetime of misery. Been to the conference finals once in their life. Always the little brother to the Lakers, so they're used to it.
yeah. So I think that's where I kind of got that. Um, as you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, I still, from the jump, I said Mavs. I still believe that up to now. I
Same.
think, I think, first off, I don't trust James Harden in the playoffs. I never have, and I never will. I think
And
without
Russell
Kawhi,
Westbrook.
yeah, I don't, I don't trust Russell Westbrook either. And they're both on the same team. I think with the Mavericks, it's like Luka's always gonna do his thing. Kyrie, you don't know, but when he does, he's on fire. And we saw that in the second half of the last game, of the first game, rather. And we've seen this with the Clippers where Kawhi went down against the Suns in the conference finals. They came back and they still won a game against the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was it. So maybe I think this is their one game. And then from here on out it's gonna be the Mavs because I think they just have too much on their team uh, to lose to a Kawhi-less Clippers. I think Paul George, being the leader of the team now, should not be
Never
able to
believed in
take
him.
down. Yeah, should not be
Playoff
enough to
P.
Way
take
off
down
P.
Luka. Yeah, and it's like Kyrie's gonna do well. I don't foresee him playing bad. It's just the backup guys. Are they gonna produce the way that you want them to? But I think
Yeah,
that 1-2 punch with Luca and Kyrie alone it should be good enough to really put you in a position to win. And I think Luca's just cold. Luca
no,
is
it's
a
true.
cold player, bro. Like he is the best player in that series, with or
Especially
without
against the
Kawhi.
Clippers.
Yeah,
Y'all know I've said this so many times, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If it's a close game in the fourth quarter, the last two people you want to look at is Luca and Kyrie Irving. You
They're
know
up
what I
there.
mean? Just because if it's a close game, I don't want to look at y'all. That's not the team I want to face. You know?
yeah. Luca is the most clutch player in the league, unquestioned. I don't think you could pick many guys over him if you need a shot. I think he's the guy that you want for the last shot. Maybe Jimmy, we've talked about him before. Maybe Kyrie even, but
Yeah.
Luca's that guy. Like he is unfazed by the moment. Um, if you put if you put him in a position where it's like, oh, well, maybe he's not, maybe you question his playing, or maybe he didn't play a good game or whatever, he's gonna come and just blow the doors off you. He's
That's
that
true.
type of guy.
I
He's
seen
he
a
doesn't take he doesn't take this he doesn't just take the smoke. He wants to smoke.
yeah. I seen a stat that said Luca was the most blitz player in the league this year. And so like take that into account. When you're looking at his scoring numbers, take that into account. that they're constantly sending doubles at him, constantly trying to do whatever they can to stop this man. He's one of those guys that's seen all the defenses, seen people try these different things to stop him. And I think when you put him around, obviously people argue whether or not that style of win can produce. But I think when you got guys like Derek Lively and Gafford who are just gonna get a whole lot of high percentage shots throughout the game, you know, it's just like it makes it rough, man. It makes it rough. And yeah, yeah.
If Dallas was top 3 seed, Luca would probably be MVP.
Oh, the minute Luca's team is a high enough seed, he's getting an MVP.
Yeah,
Because we've been trying to
and
put him in MVP conversations in like last 2-3
That's so
years.
crazy. I was about to say, shout out Luca, future MVP. Like not
Yeah.
this year, just in general.
in general,
Literally,
yeah.
the second his team sneaks into a top 3 seed, the MVP is just automatically going to him.
Who knows if
Yeah.
they can keep this team together as constructed right now? They could probably be top 4 next year.
It depends
Still,
on the
but
moves. It
Well, I
depends
say
on the
that.
moves that the other teams make.
I mean, Denver never makes huge moves, so they'll probably be the similar. OKC, I don't see them making a big move yet, like for another star. And then who else was
They
ahead of
have
them?
Minnesota.
LA's Minnesota. If anything, I feel like
I
Towns
don't.
would
Yeah.
leave.
I
Uh,
think. I think OKC can make moves because they have so many picks.
I do too. I just don't think they will because I guess it also depends who will like act for trades and all that. But
Yeah.
I don't see anyone like major that can impact them right now. That's like wants to leave their situation.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if something, listen, if something blows up in New Orleans and they want to make some moves and they trade either a Brandon Ingram or a Zion Williamson,
Gee, Chet and Zion, that front court.
like it's very possible.
You know what that reminds me of? You guys ever heard of the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
I'm weak.
That's
I never
funny.
seen that movie.
I never watched it, but I know it. I know the two guys. I've
Like the
seen all the
poster
stuff
itself
for it.
alone, the
Yeah.
huge Arnold would be
Okay,
Chet.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
But
looking at
yeah,
it.
like if one of those guys wants to, ends up on the trading block, OKC is more than equipped to make that trade.
Honestly, yeah, I would give up Giddy. And then honestly, New Orleans should think about getting rid of CJ, and then Giddy could be like the new point guard. Who else could they? I guess what's his name? Dortz would probably go back to New Orleans, and then they're probably gonna want like Jalen Williams for Zion. I wouldn't do it, but
No.
Yeah, no,
maybe
not
the
at
other
all.
one. Wait, you put in the name Jalen? They're like, no, not this Jalen, the other one.
They gonna try and fleece a team like that. Yeah, no, we'll give you Jalen Williams, of course.
Yeah.
Just hope that the team doesn't double check how Jalen is spelled.
Or
You know what I'm saying?
even like a team like the Knicks, like they would probably want some draft picks because they're growing, they're young. They're probably not going to trade like their top players.
They're not that
But
young.
who's the oldest guy on the team?
On the Knicks?
That's like important, not like a Taj Gibson. Don't tell me Taj Gibson.
No, he's not on the team.
Oh, he's not anymore?
Maybe Bogdanovich.
Right. And they just got him. The core of the team is young. They're not like rookies or second year or anything, but their core is a young core. They're becoming veterans in the league. So they could always get younger guys build up.
Brunson's 27.
I feel like Hart's probably up there, like 27.
Randall's
also.
29. Hart's 27. I want to say I looked it up the other day.
Right. Just
I
get
think,
some solid
like,
young
Hart's
guys.
29.
Who is?
Yeah.
Josh Hart's 29.
Really?
Hartenstein's 25.
They
He
got a
might not be
young
on the
team.
team though next year. He's a free agent, and he's definitely going to get paid.
Mitchell
Listen,
Robinson.
man, Hartenstein to the Celtics. You know, we
Every
could
big
always
man.
use some more.
If
We
you
can
say
always
any big
use.
man's name, he's going to say Celtics. You say Andre Drummond, yo man, he's going to go to the
Listen,
Celtics.
listen, man.
Bro would
Any
sign
help
the
that we could
league
get,
if he could, so that the Celtics would just win by default. Because no
any
team has
any
the other player.
any center, any good center we could get, you know, we're more than happy to take him off your hands.
You have Porzingis
Um,
though. He's basically a center.
okay, but Al Horford is getting old, and we have no one else to replace him. If something were to happen,
But
we
you
need a
don't
guy
need
like
like
Hartenstein to take minutes off of Porzingis so he could rest.
draft, man. Most
How
people don't
many
take.
times we going to draft? How long is that going to last, bro? Porzingis ain't got too much time left in the league. Like,
You got to
as a
start
top,
drafting eventually. Might as
know?
well start now, and then develop the guy while he's still there.
But why would I do that when I could immediately get Hartenstein right now?
You know how much he's probably going to ask? He's probably going to ask for close to 20 million.
Okay, let's give it to him.
How many people are you paying? You just paid Drew. You just paid Jalen. I don't know if Tatum got paid or he's going to get
Tatum's
paid.
gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid.
Porzingis still has his deal. Horford,
He
if he
already
doesn't
got
retire,
extended. He already got extended.
Horford, if he doesn't retire, will still be on the payroll.
Yeah,
You
what's
just
one
paid
more
Pritchard.
guy? 30 mil for 4 years. That's a drop in the bucket.
You're gonna have to pay Hauser in another year or two, probably.
How much is he really gonna get? He's not getting 100 million.
Probably somewhere between 5 to 7.
What are we
We
doing right now, bro?
just sign one more guy. Just sign one more guy. That's all.
Oh,
we
what's
need.
his name? Derek White. Did he get paid yet?
No, he has to get paid. He does have to get paid.
I know this is actually. Who would you rather have, Marcus Smart or Derek White?
Oh, Derek White. Derek White.
Derek White is nowhere
Guys,
close. Wait, whoa. But
I
Derek White
want,
is.
I
let me
want
just
you
say
to
this.
know that he put Derek White over Bam out of Bayou.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Just so
I
you
was there
know
for
the
that.
level of bias we're dealing with.
That's not a bias. I know what I'm getting with Derek White. I don't know what I'm getting with Bam.
Stop.
But to go back to our other discussion,
Wait. How did Bam play the other day? Let's see. Let's look at it.
I honestly don't know.
I got it right here. I got it right here.
I have
Can
not watched this
Can,
series.
can Bizarro World say his sentence, please?
Do you
No.
think Derek White
Okay.
is better than Kyle Lowry, even in his prime?
Yes. Yes. Who's a better scorer? Derek White. And who's a better defender? Derek White. Insane.
What are you talking about, bro?
Derek
guys
White
are
has
sick
only
in the
been
brain.
good for like the last 3 years.
So you're gonna talk about a guy you're gonna talk about all 7 years, and you're gonna talk about just a few years, or we're gonna talk about who's at their peak is better.
Peak for peak, Kyle Lowry is better than Derek White.
You're sick.
At his
You're
peak,
sick.
Kyle Lowry was what, a 3-time All-Star? Derek White has 0 All-Star appearances.
He's the fakest all-star to ever.
I don't even
exist in
care
the
about
NBA.
All-Star, bro. Like Kyle Lowry's just a better player than Derek White.
Who's a better scorer?
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry.
You guys are both stupid. You guys are both have not been watching basketball. This is insane work that I'm witnessing. I've never seen
White
anything.
glaze is nasty.
Derek
God.
White gets the easiest 15 points in the NBA right now. He's got 3 guys that are the option. He's the 4th option.
Oh my God.
This is actually nasty, bro.
Kyle Lowry would average
so nasty.
Kyle Lowry would average 20 plus as the 2nd option.
Oh my God. You guys are actually insane.
What where do you rank Derek White in like guards today, like right now?
I mean, we got to start ranking off the guards. I mean, it's going to be a little ways down because there's some really good guards in the league.
Now it's like Luka like a guard, like that stuff.
I think so, yeah. I mean,
is Derek White a top 20 player right now?
In the league?
Yeah.
No.
Top 30.
Maybe
ballpark.
30.
Top 40 to be safe.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
Just curious.
So that means he has Bam below 40. If he
No,
thinks
that's not
Derek
what I
White,
mean.
didn't you say
I don't.
Derek
I'm
White
not
was better than
saying.
Bam?
I'm saying to be safe. I'm saying to be safe, but not like he's 39 or 40. But it's just a lot to rattle off different players.
Bam is better than Derek White, by the way.
I'm not taking Bam over Derek White.
He's
You
a
could
center,
not
though.
take him, but Bam is still better than Derek White.
No, he's just not. He's just
Bam is a
not.
better defender than Derek White. A much better defender than Derek White.
Is Bam gonna guard the best player on the other side?
Yes. If the best players are big, yeah.
What you
the best
want?
players
Wait,
are big.
no. Honestly, what you want Giannis to do if they play the Knicks, Bam can do.
Yeah. Bam
Does
is
he
like
do
the
it?
most versatile defender in the league right
That's
now.
why Bam is a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year.
Because guards get no love. Guards get no
Extremely-
love in DPOY.
Because centers are more
Marcus won 2 years
valuable
ago.
defensively than guards.
That's not no. They get no love
Marcus
because
Smart didn't
people
deserve
don't
that DPOI.
You're sick. You're sick for that. Guards don't get love in DPOI because of the fact that they're just naturally like just smaller guys. So you look at a bigger guy to be like, oh, he must be a better defender. But a lot of small
bigger
guys
are naturally better defenders than.
No, see, that's the thinking that you go in with, and you don't actually watch the guys that are playing really well on defense. That's why it took Marcus Smart so long to win it. He could have won it before that. He didn't have to win it then.
What year
you
did
tell him-
Mike? What year was Michael Bridges a finalist? Was that the Marcus Smart year?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he should have won whenever he was.
No.
I had Giannis winning that year. Or was that the Brook Lopez year? No,
I can't believe Brook Lopez won one. To be honest, this dude can barely move, even at his peak. He could barely. He was
respect Brook Lopez. What are we talking about?
I like Brook Lopez, but like he was never like
he's one of the best shot blockers in the league.
Like even Gobert's a better defender.
So is Derek White. I don't understand.
Derek White is one of the best shot blockers in the league.
You said shot blockers.
Yeah, shot as a guard. As a guard.
No, not as a guard. In general.
Who's the whole
in general?
better than him?
In general, stand
Who's
on this.
better than him? Who's
right
better
now?
Than him?
Right now, or in like
Wemby, Giannis,
Chet,
okay,
Gobert,
okay,
AD,
Bam,
I don't know.
AD, yes.
Okay.
Who else?
Mitchell Robinson.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Claxton.
When healthy, Mitchell Robinson. Yes.
Stop it.
What?
Mitchell Robinson, when healthy, can average like 3 blocks a game.
Derek White can do the same thing.
What does he average right now in blocks?
He probably 2 and change.
What are we talking about here, bro? What are we actually talking about?
Let's look at it. Let's look at it. I'm not gonna just say it and not look it up and fact check it.
His best year is 1.2, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh,
his
right,
best year is this year, 1.2.
This guy said 2.
Oh, all right, you got that. I'm bugging.
You can being a good shot blocker as a guard is being a good shooter as a center. It doesn't mean you're actually like a top tier shot blocker or shooter.
But you gotta understand too, he's getting that 1.2 on a team with Porzingis, Jason, Horford, and Brown.
Yeah, that's how he's getting his 15 points also.
I disagree with that because he's not getting the same opportunities that he could get on other teams.
If he was on the Spurs, well, maybe that's not a good example because he'd probably be.
If he was on the Spurs, he'd probably average 25.
No, I don't know about that.
No.
I think at best maybe 20.
He would be like DeJounte, but better.
No.
I gotta be honest. I don't know if he's better than DeJounte.
I don't think he is.
He's a better. DeJounte is a better playmaker, but he's not a better scorer. He's not a better defender.
I think you're just like.
I think he gets to the basket easier than Derek. Like shooting, I'll give that to Derek. Defender, He's fell
I
off
don't
a
think
little
you're
in San
factoring
Antonio,
in.
but he was a good defender.
I don't think you're factoring in that, like, with an increased offensive role, the increased defensive attention that he would get as well. And that's my
He was.
thing.
I think he was already averaging like 15 on the Spurs before Wemby. Yeah, he was averaging 14 on the Spurs,
We talking
15
about
on the
DeJounte or
Spurs.
I
No,
think he's talking about
Derek.
White.
we're talking about Derek? Okay, gotcha.
He was already doing that before Wemby and before that team was even good.
What option number was he on that team?
I
Probably
don't
one or
remember.
two.
I'm
Probably not
looking.
even.
Well, I think Derek. I mean, when did he get into the Celtics? When Ime's first year or the year before?
They had DeJounte on that team. Lonnie Walker on that team. Vassell was still there. Thaddeus Young was there.
So Jonte
Zach
Murray was the
Collins,
number one option because I think he
Drew
averaged 20
Eubanks,
Yeah,
that
DeJounte was
year.
the number one option.
So he was the number two option, and he only
Keldon
averaged
Johnson.
15. Here he's the number four option, and he's only still averaging 15. That's pretty good.
Exactly.
But still, Kyle Lowry was a number two option. He averaged, I don't know, his career high is got to be at least in the 20s.
But what you're not peeping though is that, like, that year, if you, I don't remember too well
Kyle
everybody on
Lowry's
that team,
highest
but if
is
he was the
22.
second, option that San Antonio year, his efficiency was not as good. So that's the thing. Like, even though he's putting up the same numbers, like, it shows that this is a better role for him, because the more offensive attention that he gets, the harder it's going to be for him to score, because the more defensive attention that he gets, the harder it's going to be for him to score, and he's going to struggle more.
You're looking at the which season? 2020, 2021?
I'm looking at the 21-22 season for
21, 22.
I think
Derek White.
I think he split it though. That was the year he was traded, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
He played 49 games though
He played 49 games
for San
on,
Antonio.
and what did he average?
14.
On 42.5% shooting. All right. He wasn't that efficient that year. Before that, he was pretty good. Like, with the exception of 2020, 2021.
Those San
He was,
Antonio years, like 2020, 2021, his field goal percentage is low all of these
but that's what
years.
where?
He 2020, 2021, he's shooting 41. 2020, 21, 22, he's shooting 42.
Yeah, that's when it was split. That's when it was
21,
split.
22,
That
he's
was the
shooting
one. That's
42.
1 year. That's
Yeah,
1
that's what
year.
I'm saying.
But that's 1 year.
Yeah, and then 1920, he's shooting 45. But what number option was he on that team? Is what I'm
What was
saying.
the roster?
This is the roster that had LaMarcus Aldridge, Damari Carroll, DeMar DeRozan, Bryn
Oh, he was
Forbes,
probably number four.
Probably
Keldon
was number
Johnson,
3.
Patty Mills, DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, he was probably the third option.
So
Of
we
that.
see his efficiency goes up the less of an offensive role that he has. The more of a role that he has, his efficiency goes down.
What was his shot attempts? He's averaging the most shots here on the Celtics.
Yeah. But he's not, the defense doesn't
Actually,
have to
no, the
key in on
2020,
him.
well, that's 2020, 2021. Can't count that one.
The defense doesn't have to key in on him the same way they would.
I don't disagree with you. But if you
that's what I'm
see the
saying.
shots, I don't think
think
he
he's the
gets,
offensive player that you think he is what I'm saying.
You think he's getting it because he's not the number one. They're not going to try and stop him specifically.
Yeah.
I get that. But at the same time, neither is Bam. Bam isn't the focus. And he wasn't even the focus
I've seen the
now
offense
without
run
Jimmy.
through Bam.
But he's not the main focus as like, oh, we have to lock down this guy or else we're gonna lose.
True.
Yeah, because Jimmy's the number one option. But
No, but
last
I'm
year
saying
when Tyler
even
Hero
No,
without
was hurt,
Jimmy.
he's saying right now.
he was the number. When Tyler Hero was hurt, he was the number 2 option offensively. And a lot of stretches, the offense ran through him, working dribble handoffs at the top of the key.
But you gotta understand too, like Bam, he's I don't like to say the term one dimensional, but his majority of his work is going to be in the paint or in and around the paint area.
Like most
He's
centers.
not he's not getting he's not like gonna get you outside of like 18 feet.
That's fine. I
You
don't
gotta
think he
understand
has
that's
to.
free throw. He's like his he's like a free throw line like distance guy, like whatever that is, 15, 18 feet from the bucket. That's like his max. So on offense, he's very like I don't like to say one dimensional, but at least a guy like a Derek White, he can take you off the dribble, he can shoot the three, he can drive to the rim, he can do a lot more on the offensive end. He just doesn't have the opportunity to, like you said, because he's like a fourth option on this team. He doesn't get the opportunity to actually take like a serious volume of shots. And
I think
you gotta understand too, like those San Antonio years, it was like worse teams, right? So it's not like the ball is gonna be moving in a way where like other guys are good options. Everyone just has to kind of take what you get, right? Then it's like that was probably his what fourth year in the league. The first year he averaged 3, the next one he averaged like 8, 9. You know, it's not like he wasn't like this highly coveted pick or anything like that. So he came in, you know, he wasn't as good as he is now. Like he's still growing as a player. This is probably the
bro's like
best he's
29
been.
years old.
Okay, he started when he was like 24. Like it happens. It's not like
No,
every
I'm
guy's
just
coming
saying
into the
he's not
league.
gonna get much better than this. I think we've already seen the best we've seen.
He's seen his
Well,
peak
that's an
already.
assumption. That's an assumption then.
I
So
mean,
you're
if he
telling me we've seen Giannis's best already? He's only going
Potentially,
to
yeah.
decline from here?
Potentially, yeah.
most likely, yeah.
And
You think so?
I'm not saying necessarily that he's gonna decline like next
He's
year,
gonna go like this.
but
Steady.
I think it's gonna be a plateau a little bit. We're gonna get a couple years of him producing around the same amount, and then he's gonna decline.
So Jokic too, he's like on the decline because he's
I
younger
think
in
Jokic
age.
is plateauing around here. Yeah,
Yeah. Age,
Okay.
non-athletic.
yeah.
But he's been non-athletic the entire time.
But as he gets
And he's going
older,
to
it's
get his
gonna
third
get worse.
MVP.
He's gonna
You
get
know,
worse as he gets older, though.
But he's not even showing any signs of slowing down. So you're basing your thought on an opinion or an assumption that at some point they're gonna have to start coming down.
well, yeah, but if you look at NBA history, like
But I
most
was gonna
players,
say, I see
But every
another
player
good
is different.
3-4 years
I,
from Derek White of
that's
this. Yeah.
fair. But statistically speaking, I'm just going based off of what I've seen. Listen, if for Giannis Jokic, I'm happy if they prove me wrong, you know. And I'm not saying that next year they're falling off. Like I don't like to bet on people falling off until I see it. You know what I mean? Until they show me that. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, I don't think there's room for most people to get much better. I think me personally, I think 25 is when you enter your prime. And from 25 to like 29, you're gonna end up within that range. Hold on one second. Oh my gosh.
Come on, Uncle Renan.
20. Whatchamacallit? 20.
Uncle Renan.
Anyways, um, Thomas, stop. I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Y'all got it.
But at the same time, it's like Steph and Clay too. I understand like the people I'm talking about are like the greater players in the league, right? Steph and Clay didn't start hitting their stride until later.
Until
And
like Renan said,
realistically,
like 25 ish.
no. Steph didn't win until he was like 27, 28.
Well, winning. Are we talking about winning or
And then
producing?
wait, and then you're telling me like the 2016, like from 2016 to now, Steph hasn't really declined in his play. It was just 2016 was the first time we really seen it. And that's why we think of 2016 as like his greatest year. But
He
if
was
you look
26.
statistically, right, I'm saying if you look statistically, 2016 and those years after 2016, I don't think we're so far off. But it's just because 2016 was the first time we really seen it, so we take that in a bigger scope. Like, whoa, that was his best year, this, that, and the third. But statistically, I don't think it was much different. I mean, you guys can fact check me. I don't think it was much different than what we're seeing in the past couple of years.
How much better did he get since then?
I don't think he got much better, but I don't think he's worse. I
But
don't think with age
that's what I'm
he got
saying.
worse, but
I'm
I
not.
don't think with age he started to decline. I
Yeah,
don't.
because what we said is we said they would decline at a certain year.
Yeah,
Well,
He's saying like if it was like a scale, it's like he's just been like this. It hasn't been this. It's just been this.
but that we said that though. We said that when you hit your prime, you're gonna be obviously. You might get a little bit better here, a little bit better here, but this is pretty much who you are, and you're gonna stay at that level for a while, and then you decline. I didn't say that. Once you hit your best, it's downhill from here. I'm saying you're gonna give us a few years at that level, and um, and then you're gonna decline from there. So when to bring it back to the original point, when I was talking about Derek White, I'm not saying that Derek White is gonna get worse next year, but I'm saying that given his age, we're probably not going to see Derek White get much better, is what I was trying to say.
but at the same time, if you look at him statistically or even watch him play, he's gotten better almost every year. He's moved up. Like even in the media, they've talked about him more now. If you look at like
Like
what JJ Redick has said, right? JJ has talked about him being one of the top like 30 players in the league. One of the top dudes that you need, like one guy that you need on your team. He's improved just because he's older, right? But think about it like this too. He started not long ago. So it's not like he's been in the league for like 10 years where his body's going to start, just failing him at some point.
age is a thing though.
But he
And
didn't
the older
start
you get, you're
playing
gonna
at the
lose the
level,
athleticism.
but he didn't start playing at the level till later on. So his body's not going to just start breaking down as easily as it would if he was playing longer and have
That's
gotten
not
beat up for
necessarily
more
true.
years.
He might be injured less, but that doesn't mean you can't lose parts of your athleticism just with age in general.
You can, but he's shown no signs.
Well, to
You
be
Okay.
can't
fair,
just assume that he will because he's shown no signs.
Yes, I can just assume that he will. Because as players age, they lose athleticism. We've seen it with every single player, ever, all time, ever, everybody. So I
even
can just
We're not
assume
just
that.
talking about straight athleticism. We're talking about just their level of play. I think that's
Yes,
what I'm talking about.
yes, because the thing is, like, you can get smarter, and that's how a lot of players continue to play at a high level because they do things differently. But as you get older, certain things about your game, not even in a straight just how high can you jump sense, but how fast can you come off a screen? How quick can you get to your shot? On defense, how fast can you move your feet? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Not just your first jump, but how high you can jump, but how fast can you get to that second jump kind of thing. All these are all predicated on athleticism. And little things like that can get chipped away with time and age.
I get what you're saying, and in theory, it makes perfect sense. But you got to understand, if you're not seeing it right now in real time, right? Regardless of what the common consensus may be, if you're not seeing it, you can't come up with an opinion on a guy based on something you haven't seen with this guy. That's my point. You've seen him progress as time goes by. You've
I
seen
haven't.
nothing
How much better has he gotten in the past 3 years?
a lot better in the past 3 years.
A lot
This is
better.
the best version that we've seen of him. If you watch him play, this is the
I
best
agree.
version we've seen of him.
But
So
is
I
it
agree.
because he's not asked to do as much as he would if he was still in San Antonio though?
it definitely plays a role. But you understand the idea that without him putting the work that he's in, this team is not even close to what they are right now. They're probably not even the number one seed without a guy like him, without
I
him
don't
being
know
on the
about
team.
that.
You're tweaking. You're tweaking. You
A
lost
team
me.
with True
Look up
Holiday,
the stat.
Jalen
If you
Brown.
look up the stats with him not playing, they probably only won one game without him playing.
He played
Probably only
73 games this year.
Look
It's a
at the
small sample
stats,
size.
but it's a small sample size with a lot of guys. But you know the guys have that impact. They're
I don't
probably
know.
one. They're probably 1-4 without him playing.
I think Marcus Smart had more of an impact than he does, in my opinion.
Well, with Marcus Smart, you're talking about longevity, right? He's been there longer. You know, they have more chemistry. But with Derek White, he's been there for such a short amount of time and has already made probably just as big an impact. Immediately off rip, he had an impact. Marcus Smart, it took years. And I love Marcus Smart. It took a
They're
long
six and
time for
three.
Marcus Smart to get that.
They're 6-3 without Derek White this season.
There's no way. Because I remember a stat saying they had a losing record with him.
Well,
Without
how'd
him,
you
I'm
find
sorry.
that, Renan?
Huh?
How'd you find that?
I'm on StatMuse right now. They beat Brooklyn. They lost to Minnesota. They lost to Charlotte. They beat San
Oh, that's
Antonio.
nasty. How
They
you
beat
lose to
the
Charlotte?
Wizards. They lost to Atlanta. They beat Sacramento. They beat Charlotte, and they beat Washington. And then there could be even more context to this, because who else might have been sitting out that day
True.
in those losses, in those games that they lost?
Because how do you lose to Charlotte just without Derek White? That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Did you do that?
so it's like,
He's got to get the NBA and
We good?
Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you're back.
says it came up and it was like something went wrong. Make sure your Wi-Fi was good, but my Wi-Fi had 3 bars. But anyways, okay, so the games that they're looking at, the games that he didn't play is
I just told you the games he didn't play.
no, I'm looking. I don't even know if you said what games he didn't play specifically because my thing was spinning for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did.
So the last game of the season against Washington and the second to last game of the season against Charlotte don't count. Honestly, if
Yeah.
we're being real, don't count.
All right. So then
The game
7
on the
games.
5th
Like,
against Sacramento, that was good. They won. They won by a point. The leading scorer was Pritchard.
was
So
anyone playing?
I don't know if anything happened that game. I can check the stats right now. What day was that? The 5th?
Like 5th of April?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tatum, Holiday, Porzingis, and Horford played.
Oh, is that the game where he benched them in the second half?
No, I don't think so because they only won by a point. Fox went off for 40. So Sacramento just sucks.
What were the minutes for them?
Hauser played the most, 36. Tatum played 33, 5 of 15. Holiday played 31. Porzingis played 24.
Drew Holiday only
Horford played 20. No, he played 31. He played 31.
Wait, who played?
Yeah,
Did you say 15 or did I mishear that?
Tatum was 5 of 15 from the field. Yeah. So I don't even know what happened that game. Hauser went 1 of 18 that game.
Jeez.
So I guess that's a good game. I guess that one is cool. They lost on the 25th to I don't know who that is. To Atlanta. They won on the 17th. They beat Washington. They won on the 17th of January. That was against San Antonio.
So he's only missed games against bad teams, it seems. So we don't really know the impact unless he missed like a game against
November 4th, 6th, and 20th. That's what we're looking at right now. November 20th against Charlotte. They lost. November 6th against Minnesota. They got blown out. Oh, no, they didn't. They lost by 5. I thought it was saying 15. And then against Brooklyn, they lost. So I guess it goes both ways.
Only one of those
really
teams
don't know.
Playoff team.
Yeah. So I guess we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question. If he was the second option, not just on this team, on any team, would you think that team would be a championship contending team?
Which team?
Just any team.
I'm trying to think of a team that could be possible.
Say he was if he was in the place of Kyle Lowry when Kawhi was there and Siakam, do you think Toronto would have still won the championship?
Oh, with Golden State being injured and stuff?
Like that whole series, like, that whole playoff run with the Sixers and everything.
That playoff run still happens.
Yes.
The playoff run still happens.
The only difference is it's Derek White instead of Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, I think the playoff run still happens.
Really?
On that team.
Honestly, they probably would have lost to Philly.
Nah, not to Philly. Not to Philly. Philly don't beat nobody. Not to Philly. Philly don't beat nobody. This is the only chance that they have to beat somebody. Philly don't beat nobody.
No comment.
Who has Philly beaten? What good team has Philly beaten in the playoffs in the past 5 years?
Past 5 years.
They've never made it to a conference finals. They're only winning a first round matchup.
They beat the Heat when they were the 6th seed, right? Didn't they beat the Heat when it was Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade?
What?
I think it was like a young Embiid and Simmons. I think they beat them.
Even if they beat a Chris Bosh and a Dwayne Wade, in what year is this?
20 good, not championship.
What is this? 2015?
Maybe 2016.
I don't even think Embiid. How long has Embiid been in the league?
He was in the Andrew Wiggins draft, so whenever that was. 2014?
Yeah, probably 20,
But I
2014,
think it was
2015.
2016 then, because I think he missed the first 2 years of his career. Man, that's crazy to think about. Imagine if he at least played one of those years. Look, I'm not saying Derek White's a bad player. I just don't think he's
No,
better than certain
I
players we
agree with
talked
you.
about.
I agree with you. I mean, I know
Yeah,
what you're saying.
The
I
thing
know what
about
you're
this,
saying.
Kyle Lowry, like the way it works, he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Do I agree
Yeah,
with
which is
that?
insane.
Yeah. Do I agree
Um,
with that? Not entirely. Like I like Kyle Lowry, but he's not like
Listen, I just want you guys to watch these games coming up for the Celtics
I will
and
not.
see.
this is a hard series to determine though, because
No,
it's
I'm not even talking about this. Like I'm talking
I'll
about
start
after.
watching in the second round.
All right,
basically
that's
yeah,
fine.
pretty
That's
much
very
certain
fair.
series you just know, like the Celtics. There was another series I was like I'm not even watching. No, maybe it's just the Celtics to be honest.
Yeah, like second round conference finals. Like watch him specifically and how he plays the game. And there's so many players in the league where it's like stats don't tell you everything, right? Marcus Smart was the perfect guy for that. Marcus Smart probably is going to average less than 10 points for his entire career, but you know the impact that he had on this team. And he was most likely going to be the reason that you won a game. He was going to give you a defensive stop when you needed it. He was that guy. Derek White can give you a bucket when you need him, and he can give you a defensive stop when you need it. That's the type of guy that he plays. He's the type of guy that's gonna just be there everywhere on the court. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. And it's like Kyle Lowry, Kyle Lowry was more on defense is more of a showman. Is the nicest way I can put that. Mind you, Marcus Smart was like that too. But a lot of times Marcus Smart actually took a lot of hard bumps. Kyle Lowry just kind of does a lot of acting. And you know that. Kyle Lowry does a lot of acting. And if
Marcus
you
Smart
watch
doesn't
it,
act.
I
Yeah,
just said that he does. I just said that he
he
does.
did say that.
But he takes a lot of real bumps too. And
I,
he used to guard Giannis, guarded KD, he guarded all those guys. He took those assignments. Embiid, he took those assignments. And he did well in those assignments. And it is known that he did well in those assignments. Now, did he guard them the entire game? No. Did he guard them in spurts? Yes. Did he do well? Yes. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Derek White can take a good offensive player. Kyle Lowry was not taking those top guys. Kyle Lowry is not slowing down the top guys in the league. Don't do
I
that.
mean, he was.
Don't do that. He was just annoying.
I'm pretty sure he was guarding Kyrie when it was like Raptors and Cavs.
How did that work out?
I know, but still, like
Okay.
Kyle
Okay.
Lowry is the charging king, man. Every time that guy's in the paint, it's a charge.
Yeah, and a lot of times it was a flop. I'm not saying Marcus Smart didn't flop a lot, but he did it less than Kyle Lowry. Derek White, he doesn't flop at all.
To be fair, Kyle Lowry's been in the league maybe 9 years more than Marcus Smart.
Yeah, that's true. But not even to get on the topic of Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
I think offensively, Derek White is better than Kyle Lowry, and I think defensively too. And even given the role, you can say like, oh, he gets better opportunities, to make shots this, that, and the third. But he doesn't get to have the ball like more than a Kyle Lowry did as a second option. If you get what I'm saying. He's not getting to really say, hey, let me get the ball and try to put the ball in the basket.
Right.
And he's still averaging a 15 points on pretty efficient numbers. And he doesn't we had this discussion already with Derek White. Not a lot of his shots are like open shots or anything. We had this discussion. It's probably less. I think we said it was less than Bam, but it wasn't a majority of his shots or a good portion of his shots were uncontested. We had this exact conversation.
Yes, we did.
No, we were talking about percent of his shots being assisted.
Oh yes, yeah, that
Oh,
was
okay. Assisted. Okay. I don't think he gets a lot of open shots. He may get a good amount of good shots, like to where it's not no pressing defense like crazy on him. But neither did Kyle Lowry. Nobody was trying to stop Kyle Lowry. Ever.
I
Ever.
don't know about that.
That's just not true.
I don't think that's true.
Nobody's creating a defensive scheme to stop Kyle Lowry. The glaze for him is insane right now. Come on. Nobody is coming into a series at any point in his career and saying, we got to stop Kyle Lowry. Never, not one
Well,
time.
maybe not as the first
People
option.
are coming into his. People are always coming into a series ready, prepared to scheme for the second option.
Just think about it. When it was him and DeMar, like
that's just how that works,
who
bro.
else was really on those Raptor teams besides him and DeMar? Like, if you got
Yeah, they have to take like 30 shots a game because they didn't have no team.
So
I agree
technically,
with you on that.
we're scheming kind of for that.
They're not putting up like a defensive scheme like we have to lock this guy down or we're gonna lose. Never, not one time.
I mean,
Can you
know that for
convince me
sure?
of that?
Because
You cannot convince me of that.
You would think in your head it's we gotta start DeMar, but was that really? Maybe teams were saying we do gotta stop this little guy.
Never, bro. Like let's not start pushing false narratives. Like this is exactly why guys like him is gonna make the Hall of Fame. This is exactly why. And no disrespect to Kyle Lowry, but he is not like Hall of Fame. He's not as good as people want him to be.
He's in the Hall of Very Good.
Okay, yeah.
And then Derek White is in the Hall of Good right now.
You guys gotta watch this dude play, man. Gotta watch this dude play. That's all it comes down to. You really gotta watch this dude play.
I mean, you also gotta think though, Lowry had a lot more responsibility, not only because he was the second option, because he was like the main point guard. Derek White is not like a point guard.
I don't disagree with you at all. But I think if you put him at his peak in place of Kyle Lowry in 2019, you get the same, if not more, out of it. That's just my view. I think he's a really good scorer. I think he's one of the better defenders in the league. I think he can guard more guys than Kyle Lowry could. I think he does more of an impact, has more of an impact on the game. I don't know how else to say that. I can understand that you guys don't agree with him because we've seen Kyle Lowry win a championship and go on a big run, this, that, and the third. Derek White has been on this team for what, 3 years? Not even three full years. And we've already seen he's had a high impact on this team. Even though he's with a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, now a Kristaps Porzingis and a Jrue Holiday. We look at Derek White and we say on any given night, he can be the third guy behind those guys. Any given night. Behind two of the premier guys in the league, whether you want to say so or not. Kyle Lowry, you could have put him third, fourth, fifth, against if you had two of the top guys in the league and you had the supporting cast like how Celtics have. On this team, in Kyle Lowry's prime, on this team, do you think he's a third option? Or can be a third option any given night?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm looking right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Derek White, 31% of his shots, the closest defender was 4 to 6 feet away, which is open. And then 32% of his shots, the closest defender was 6+ feet away, which is wide open.
And what about the other 40?
That's the case, 29% of his shots was from 2 to 4. Like the closest defender was 2 to 4 feet,
How
and
much?
only sit
How much
two to
percentage?
four feet.
No, no, how
29.
much percentage?
29.
29?
Yeah, and then 6.9. So basically 7% of his shots was 0 to 2 feet. So the defender was right on him.
So 60% of the time he gets a good shot, and 40% of the time it's a pretty contested shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Which makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't disagree with that. I think on a team with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Chris Stapps, you're gonna get better opportunities,
Yeah. So most
right?
of his
At
shots
open
are wide.
shots. But at the same time, too, when you watch him play, dude can make tough shots. The dude can make the winning plays. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I think he was a better player than Kyle Lowry in his peak. I think when these guys win a chip, you guys are gonna see it.
And that's why the Lord created the phrase agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
All
But
right.
either way, going back to the original Bam to Derek thing, me if I have a team, I'm taking Derek. I'm not mad at you for taking Bam, but I'm taking Derek because I know what I'm getting from him every night. I know what I'm getting from him every night, and I'm getting a guy that's on the improve right now. That's it. You can say whatever you want, but the fact that he's 29 and now he's now hitting his stride, hitting his peak,
He's
the dude is getting better.
that's not.
You can say whatever you want about age and this and that and this and that.
So
If a
now we're
guy is
just
playing, if a guy is playing better, if a guy is getting better every year, I'm going with the trend that he's getting better. I'm not gonna just assume he's gonna start tailing off.
Fair enough.
nah. You had me at first, and then I realized we started playing
So when Dame
one
Lillard,
truth and all
when Dame
lies.
wait, when Dame Lillard was getting up in age, did he start to decline?
How much better did Dame Lillard get? Is what I'm
He
saying.
made it to a conference finals late in his career
Not late
as
Oh
the
in his
my
leader of a
gosh,
team.
bro!
I
I'm
don't know
not.
how that was
Team
considered late in
success
his career.
doesn't necessarily prove of a player getting better or not.
I feel like now Dame's
But
really in the late of his career.
that's not a good argument to use.
You're telling me now that he's still one of the best players in the league. You're telling me that at that point when he made it to the conference finals, he was better before that.
I have to double check, but it's possible. I don't think he was much better than he was the year before, if my memory serves me correct. And that's really kind of the crux of my point. I'm not saying but where we agree to disagree on is I don't think Derek White has gotten a crazy amount better in the past 3 years. That's honestly that's the main piece that we disagree on.
What is it? Say that again. I'm sorry.
I think the main piece that we disagree on is just the fact that I don't think Derek White has gotten a crazy amount better in the last 3 years. That's really the main thing we disagree on.
Okay.
And I think
Like,
because of that, we're not going to see eye to eye just on this topic in general.
like the way I think you like John, you think he should be like just say in this sense, he should be like most improved player as Renan sees like, yeah, he probably made an improvement, but not like a huge jump. Like
Yeah, I don't think he made the jump that S thinks he made. And that's kind of the crux. And so when it comes to projecting onward, we're just not going to see eye to eye on that.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
That being said, I think, that's a great place to kind of call it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, you just want. I know you said before you had to leave. Before you had a point about the Phoenix series. Do you want to like make that and maybe Renan can edit it in, or you're cool where you're at?
Renan, that's up to you.
You want to make your point?
It probably
gonna
wouldn't be
ask
able to edit it.
I was gonna ask if anybody had closing thoughts before I was rudely interrupted.
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure we're all included because like when he was leaving, like he made it seem like come on, you got to keep it going. Like I got a good point.
I was gonna ask if we had closing thoughts before I was rudely interrupted.
Just ask it and edit it like you do.
So that being said, I think that was a great place to call it. How you guys feeling? Do we have any closing thoughts that we wanna drop? I know as you had to leave in the middle of it. Anything else you want to let the people know?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I mean, the Suns are playing right now. I think Katie's going for at least 40. I think Katie's going for 40. I think Derek White is gonna start uh showing the world that he's an important guy and he's a high impact player and he's one of the best players that we can see in the league. Um, I think the Timberwolves will win the series, but who would they face next? They're the 3 seed, so they'll
Nuggets.
face the Nuggets. Yeah, that's it. They're done. They're done
Oh,
after
well, you
one
missed
game.
that discussion we had, so me and Renan don't agree necessarily with that.
No, yeah, they're finished. It's a matter of can you trust Cat and Gobert as your second and third guys? And for me, the answer is no, because they have never proven that you can. Not one time have they proven it. And Anthony Edwards is the only guy on the team that is going to consistently give you everything that needs to be given to win a game, to win a playoff game at least.
I don't. You think Gobert is the third option on offense?
I think he's a second and third option in general on the team.
Second's
Like
crazy. Third, I'll
like
give you, but second's crazy.
no, I'm saying just second and third with those two guys. Like I'm not talking about just offense or anything. I'm talking about
Uh,
like impact and just like an overall. Like
okay.
Yeah.
if he doesn't play well,
Like
done. If
second and
Cat
third
doesn't
most
play well,
important.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I
Sorry,
can dig that.
yeah.
I can dig
I
that.
said the word option. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Second and third most important guys on the team. If one of them does not play well, I think it all goes downhill. That's it. And I don't trust those guys to play well for a long period of time. I don't trust them to, if you're in a close game, that he's going to make the big play that you need to win the game. I just don't believe that. I think with the double big lineup, it's like, okay, do you really want Cat at the 3 for Gobert to get rebounds? Or do you want Gobert and Cat to be in the paint? Or somebody set a screen, set a pick and roll, you're going to switch it off. It's been working for now. But when you get into the nitty and gritty and get to a team like Denver, what's your strategy really going to be? Are you going to try to stretch the floor with Cat, or are you trying to take both of them in the paint and try to isolate a guy like Jokic? And I just don't believe in them and those two guys. I've never have, and they have never given me a reason to. So that's what I'm going with. That's how I feel about that. Celtics in 4, Nuggets in 4 against the Lakers, Dallas in 5.
5. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't think they lose another game. Slow start, took them a while to get in. Oh wait, Kawhi's playing. Sheesh.
Oh, they
Yeah,
confirmed
Kawhi's
it.
playing. Yeah. He's playing. He's playing tonight. Dallas in 7 now.
Give it till
Kawhi's
game
playing.
4. He'll be out the rest of the series.
Yeah, if Kawhi plays the rest of the way, 7 game. I forgot that he was playing. Who else is in the playoffs right now? Oh, OKC and Pels. I think they work hard, but I think get the brooms out. Get the broom out. Get the broom out. Even with Zion coming back, I think get the broom out because I don't foresee Shy playing as bad as he did in that first game. Again, in this series, Shy is a high impact player. Shai's a very high IQ player for a young player. He will get quality looks. He will give you 30 in the easiest way possible, and he's gonna get other people involved. I can't see him playing as bad again. And the fact that he played bad and they still won, I think that's it. That's all you need because I don't foresee Zion coming back anytime soon either.
Mhm.
If Zion was playing, I'd probably say 6. But with Zion not being there, I can't see these guys even coming to win a game. I don't. Bucks in 4 should be 3. Um, even without Giannis. 76ers in 7. Did I miss anyone?
Cavs. We did not Cavs and Magic. We didn't talk about
Sweep.
them at all, but
That should be 2. The series should be done. Um, Cavs just completely outmatched the Magic. It's not even the Magic are there because Embiid got injured.
yeah.
Um, they would be lower facing a better team
At
and
best,
same
they would have
result.
been 6 probably.
Yeah. Did I miss a series or am I good?
No, I think you're good.
Timberwolves.
So
I think I told y'all before. Get the broom out. Um, get the broom out. Timberwolves got that on lock. I still think Katie's going for 40, but
and you
I
think
just
they're gonna lose that game?
yeah
That's
they
crazy.
just they're just not like Bradley Beal is a shell of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Nurkic can't guard nobody.
Agreed.
Um, Devin Booker is hit or miss now. Devin Booker is not the same guy that we've seen in years prior. He'll have a game or two, but him and KD alone is not carrying this team to beat the Timberwolves when they're actually playing as a team. Um, Anthony Edwards on his own basically took them out in the first game. I can't see them beating these guys, but I can see KD going off in a game.
All right, I'll do my final thoughts. So I'll go pretty easy. Celtics, and I won't give it 5. Obvious reasons. No Jimmy Butler. Celtics best team in the league. Let's
Thank
see.
you. Thank you for that.
Knicks and Sixers. Gotta go with the orange and blue skies, man. We won 2 tough games. That's not easy to do sometimes, and to do it twice in a row. So I'll go Knicks in 7. What we got? Who's 3 and 6 in the East? Oh, Bucks and Pacers.
Bucks and Pacers. Yeah.
I believe Pacers will get a game or two here, so I'm gonna go Bucks in 6. I think Giannis is pretty much gonna miss the first 4 games at worst, and then he'll be back maybe 5. Cavs and Magic. At this point, it looks over, but I'll give the Magic at least a game, so I'll go Cavs in 5. West Side. I don't love OKC. I told you this, the size. I told Renan about this. So honestly, I told Renan if Zion was there, I would have picked New Orleans in 7. But because he's not there, I'm going to go OKC in 7. And then I think whoever wins the Mavs and Clippers series plays them. I think they're beating OKC in at least 6. Okay, well, we got Denver and LA. I still give the Lakers a chance to win a game or two, so I'm going Denver in 6, especially now that it's going to LA. Minnesota and Phoenix. I think Phoenix is going to win at least. Honestly, I think Phoenix is going to win tonight, and then they're going to win one of the games in Phoenix. But ultimately, I think Timberwolves are going to win. So Minnesota in 6, and then Cavs and Clippers. I'm with you. I think it's going to be the Mavs, but either way, Kawhi playing or not, I think it's going to be Mavs in 7.
You don't believe in sweeps, is what I'm seeing. You don't believe sweeps is the real thing.
I mean, come on, beating a team 4 times in a row is hard, man. Like,
The
come on.
amount of times we've seen sweeps in the playoffs, especially in the first round over the years, and you don't
The
believe in
Heat, the
sweeps.
Heat is hard though. Like even without Jimmy, because they just fight, man.
How you gonna give? Come
He's
on,
scared,
man.
bro.
Come on,
Because I
man.
try to be right, man. I just don't want to say something to say it. I want to be like accurate.
Celtics and Heat is a sweep. If it's not, there's something wrong with the NBA.
If it,
Um,
Brandon, let's make a bet with him. If the Celtics don't sweep them, you got to wear Celtics gear in LA for a week.
okay. I'm only gonna be here for one more week, so we'll see. I gotta find like the Celtics merch, like a cap or something. I gotta find it.
Honestly, that's my closing thought. S is a fake Celtics fan. He's scared to rep his set in the middle of LA. He's in California hiding. He got his chain tucked. He got his four-leaf clover tucked. He's scary. He's not really about it. He's not really the fan y'all think he is. As much as he praises Derek White and Marcus Smart till he's blue in the face, he's not really the fan you think he is. All that talk he was talking today, all that stuff, would never say that, step foot in LA and say that.
Stop
So
it. You know that I would. Stop
he's
it.
just not real. You know what I
Breaking
mean?
news: we're gonna view this episode in LA.
I'm telling you, y'all want to talk two truths and a lie? S today played all lies and no truths.
Oh, we didn't.
Stop
S
it.
is on fraud watch this week.
Yeah,
Stop it.
I'm putting S on
Stop
fraud
it.
watch. That's my closing thoughts. I got nothing else to say. This was
Who y'all?
fascinating watching you live for 3 hours.
Stop it, bro.
Well,
Stop it.
let's give him 2:45. Remember, he had to go for 15 minutes,
Where
and
Listen,
now
who
he's
y'all got? Who y'all got in the finals?
Denver and Celtics. Renan?
Bucks in 7
No, but who's the other team?
Who's the other team?
doesn't matter.
I'm
No,
pretty
say
sure
it.
he
Say it
said
with your
Denver
chest.
before, so
You gotta
I'll
say
answer
it.
for him.
Bucks in 7. Big Milwaukee.
Milwaukee
Greek
against who
Freak
in
is
the
the
finals?
GOAT. Hashtag fear the deer. You know the vibes. It
Who are
don't
they
matter
playing?
who will beat everybody. It doesn't matter who.
Who are they playing? Who are they beating in the finals? Who's coming in second in the NBA?
It doesn't matter, bro. Second is first loser, bro. It
All
doesn't
Denver.
matter
right,
who comes
so
second.
so here's what I gained. Here's what I gained from that. Reddit
So, anyways, guys, thank you for
is scared.
watching. Thank you for watching. It's been a blast having you all.
Yo, wait, bring him back for a second. I just want to
You
shout
know,
out you guys. Thanks for having me on. This was fun. Can't wait to do more.
Oh, of course.
never
Oh,
again. I will
by the
vote
way,
and
yeah,
fight.
Thomas is gonna be here from pretty much from now on. I would say.
Never again.
Today was a
So it's a
nice
good
ease.
introduction.
Please,
Today was a nice
please.
ease into it, just basketball talk, but we will get into more serious stuff next time. You
Of
know,
course, of
remember
course.
I
everything,
have
anything, and nothing at all.
Celtics in 6 in the finals against the Nuggets.
Who know? And in
Mil
they're,
Celtics
they're not beating
Celtics
this.
in Celtics in 5 against the Bucks in the conference finals.
in
So we're
about a
just smoking
in
crack.
about a month when the second round ends, Brendan will be here crying with his burnt Bucks jersey because the Knicks will have beaten them.
Listen, I'm hoping.
If
I'm
that
hoping that
happened,
happens. I'm
I
rooting
just
for the
won't
Knicks
be
when that
there.
happens.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for the Knicks
we'll
when that
have to
happens.
explain why Brendan's not here.
Yeah. If the
Brendan's
Celtics lose,
Brendan's grieving today.
I'm taking time off, bro. I'm taking time off.
He's putting his time in already. He knows that's why.
I'm letting y'all know.
He's gonna put in
But
his 2-week notice.
No facts.
yeah, I don't want smoke. But yeah, Celtics see Denver, they're getting packed up. It's gonna be sad.
You're
I'm gonna
insane.
be happy though if that
You're
happens.
insane.
That's gonna be a fun series if it happens.
You're
They're gonna
insane.
get packed up bad.
You're insane.
They're gonna stay up there in the mountains and start skiing. That's what Brendan.
Yo,
This team
that's
is a
gonna be
different breed. This team is a different breed. This is
that's
unlike
gonna
any
be
team that we've seen constructed before.
that's gonna be so funny.
They got weapons that just unmatched, bro. Unmatched.
But that being said, thank you for rocking with us. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Consider subscribing to the Convo. Um,
Follow
follow us
us
on
on Instagram,
Instagram,
the
the
Convo 24.
Convo24. Email us serious inquiries only, or if you got something you want to talk to us about, DM us on Instagram, or you can email us at the Convo24. Appreciate Bizarre World. I don't, but I'm sure you guys do
Yeah,
for showing up.
this is a little
Of
too
course,
mellow
of
in my
course.
opinion. We need to get it into more, heated stuff next time.
Oh, don't worry. When Sanguini is back, oh, don't trust and believe. It's gonna be
Oh yeah,
controversial. Trust and
Sanguini
believe.
will be back. You know, he's in school right now,
Sanguini, good
so
luck
he
on
got
your
to deal with
finals.
finals. So he
Let's give
did
some love
not
to
get
our
replaced.
guy. You know,
Sanguini, we love you. You did not get replaced.
Sanguini, you to go for
yeah.
real.
It only
But
took
yeah.
what 4 or 5 years. You made it, man. You're almost there.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. He's there. He's
All
getting
right. I think on that note, we're gonna catch.
there. I tried to be nice about it. I